But as the day when the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night, we will not vanish without a fight, we're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
It's not true. It doesn't matter what's true. It matters the story they tell when you're gone.
I keep on pushing down my gypsy road.
All right. Right now, everybody's like, what the hell? 8:30 and it's 8 o'clock? What the hell is this shit? Am I having some kind of a Mandela effect? Yeah, you are, because I always had it at 8 p.m. No, I did not. We started at 8 o'clock to get more time with our good friend Connor, Bigfoot Anon, because I'm trying to find the channel he's gonna be jumping on. Here it is. I'm gonna share the screen real quick, show everybody, and then you see here, show everybody Space Out Radio. About 9 p.m. Pacific time. That's midnight over East Coast time, and then of course Midwest. I don't know what the time. Is it 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, whatever. It's 3 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour ahead of us. There's a channel called Space Out Radio. They're basically an internet radio channel that actually now broadcasts live on YouTube as on their internet radio. And they have a bunch of guests. And tonight at 9 o'clock, I know all of you will be jumping over, of course, after you watch my show, over to Space Out Radio. I'm gonna put the link to that channel right here in StreamYard. And then Connor's going to be on there. And it's a long show. They go for about over 3 hours, I think, more or less. And
yeah, it's going to be a late night tonight. I meant to get a nap in because I had an early morning. I went hiking with my mom, found a bunch of bottle relics, even took a picture of a Sasquatch footprint, the skunk ape, and meant to get a nap, but was so energized throughout the day and watched a few movies and got a few calls and now I'm here. So we're just marathoning it to Spaced Out Radio. But Amber knows that we've been waiting for this a long time, and Amber's actually going to be a guest on Spaced Out Radio as well very soon. But we've been talking about this since last year. So it's really cool to see it all come to fruition. The stars have aligned. And, man, I'm just super excited. It's just going to be the appetizer for a big 2022 for me and everybody.
And it's a fun show, guys. They get some interesting guests. Just like 2 days ago, there's a girl on there who says she's a hybrid child of DNA from aliens. And I feel like I'm not trying to laugh at it, but when I was watching it, I felt like, remember Ghostbusters 2 when Bill Murray was interviewing a whack job? Now, I'm not saying she's a whack job. I'm not saying that. But I'm sorry. That girl did not have DNA alien blood in her. She said her eyes were bigger. I'm looking at her eyes like, your eyes ain't that much bigger than the average eyes. But I love it. It's entertainment. But Bigfoot or not, they didn't know what they got. They better take some cocaine, coffee, or whatever, because knowing Connor, he's not going to slow it down, baby. He's going to fucking give him it all for all 3 hours.
100%. Oh, yeah. 180 minutes going full circles, man. I can't wait to get into all the stuff I've, experienced firsthand, all the stuff I've researched, and then maybe just the combination of just improv that goes crazy. But even today, had some wild experiences, heard some strange noises in pretty much the brush and the scrub around us. But then we took a picture of the bear footprint. And then when we were inside a cave, my flashlight that was fully charged just shut off. It was pretty wild. Z Wiki, fam, Z Dub.
I gotta tell you, I was on another channel, and they go, Eric, you have a join button on your channel. I go, yeah, but I only got 2 subscribers, but I love those 2 people. And this guy is so awesome. He's like, hey, I'll jump over and subscribe to your channel. And he did.
I'm pretty sure Z Wiki is a girl, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm
it
sorry.
might be.
I'm sorry.
But
She's
either
awesome.
way, he or she, Z Dub, is cool. Alumni of Sean G, Chasing the Truth. So we're all just going in directions of the truth. And I just want to say shout out to Amber and Matt, both been doing your guys' things. Matt, you just had an awesome interview with Mel from Expedition Bigfoot and pretty much the underground. And I heard him invite you to the Native American reservation. So I'm really excited to hear from that journey. And that might be like your exotic, connection in this world, bro. I know you've already Dave, Stacy, and of course this wild guy.
Yeah, man. It's going to be cool. I was, one of the things that made me a little bit late is that I was getting some of the details of where I would need to travel to and stuff. But I'm going to make it happen, man.
I did say 8:30 too, so it's partly my fault.
It's
always your fault. No, I'm just
kidding. It is. Well, Dr. Wu's going to be coming on. Is going to be joining us too. We've got Amber's Paranormal. We've got Sasquatch, South Florida. And guys, the theme of today's show is about paranormal investigations and Bigfoot investigations. Can one investigation help out the other? And what's great about this group right here, we got Amber Paraworld, who's a medium. She's got some medium gifts. So she's been investigating, the paranormal world. I don't know exactly how many years, but for a long time. Sasquatch, South Florida, and Bigfoot Anon has both been researching the Bigfoot for a long time. Now, Bigfoot Anon goes all over the place. Also paranormal. And Sasquatch, Florida, I think you said that's not really your thing, but you will investigate some parts of the paranormal, right?
It's not the paranormal's not my thing. You can. It's funny. It's one of the things that kind of like me and Amber were talking about when she was on my show. It's kind of just one of those doors that I've been afraid of, opening because of the experiences that I've had. They've never been pleasant. I've had a lot of unpleasant experiences in my time, and I don't feel like I'm in a place to start. You asked me, hey, we're gonna go to St. Augustine. You want to go to on a ghost tour, around on the trams and things like that, or go see one of the fortresses or whatever that they have down there that are haunted. Sure, I'll check that out with you. But I'm not going to be the one that's trying to make any contact. I'll let you do it. Okay. That's just where I'm at, because I don't feel like, energetically and metaphysically, I'm in a place that, I can receive that well. Right. And
you have abilities too. You have abilities, and they're going to always be attracted to you.
I know that. And, I'm just, where I sit now, especially after we had our show, and you confirm that for me again, that I guess I'm afraid. I'll be honest with you.
We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that that part of the show you guys did. We're gonna break it down so everybody will understand exactly what we're talking about. But if you guys have a chance, real quick, put in a vote in the community bar, because this week I put up. Let me share the screen. I put up a voting thing. Is if you can go on one investigation, if you go on just one, what would that investigation be? You could choose Bigfoot, paranormal, UFO, Mandela effect, and you can investigate conspiracies. So put in your vote. So far, I've had 61 votes, and so far what's winning is, you can see right here, 52% of people say they go on a Bigfoot investigation, 25% paranormal investigation, 7% UFO, which UFO is kind of hard to investigate, right? I mean, you don't know exactly where to go for that. Mandela effect, 7%, and conspiracy, 10%. So far with this vote, majority of the people have said Bigfoot investigation. Then later on the show, we'll double check this just to see if it's changed or not. Now, so let me see here. Let me go here. And actually, let me share here. I'm going to share this other screen.
I already put my vote in earlier in the week.
Yeah, I just wanted to see. And, you know, of course, a lot of us investigate multiple stuff. And somebody asked me, like, Eric, can you actually really investigate the Mandela effect? And I tell people, dude, investigating the Mandela effect is fucking awesome. And people are like, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? What I mean is by investigating a Mandela effect, you take a Mandela effect that's out there. Just, you know, you pick one. I don't care what it is. You pick a monopoly. Then I say, let's just say it is real. No matter what, there's nothing. It's 100% real. Investigate why it's real. But, you know, and even though you might not find the exact answer, dude, you learn so much history on every single Mandela effect that's out there. The Bear-Stained Bears or anything out there. You'll learn the history of what happened with these things, and it's fucking exciting.
Have you heard the Star Wars one? Luke, I'm not your I am your father one.
I mean, who hasn't?
Me apparently until like the other day. That blew my mind. I was like, man, I totally remember it.
I mean, you know, yeah, the Star Wars ones is always something that I could get in deep with because it's, you know, I mean, I don't share it. I don't share it. I know a few people know about this. You know, I do have another channel, but I've been putting a little bit of stuff on there. It's my Mandela Effect channel, actually. And, you know, one of them is what you're saying, Mandela Effect. Luke, I'm your father.
Oh, there we go.
And it's one of the Star Wars is one of the hardest ones to ever investigate. Trust me, because I can get nerd with you that it's almost next to impossible to get a pure truth because I don't know if you know this, that George Lucas used to make changes to his movies while they're playing at the theaters. Back in 1980, when Empire Strikes Back came out, the scenes at the end, it wasn't enough space for him, wasn't enough ships. After the first week it was at the theaters, he made changes while the movie was still playing. So why I bring that up is because people might see one way and then they go back to see the movie a week later. There's actually changes because and now, of course, with digital, but nowadays they can make a change just like that. There was a movie called Cats. I never watched it. I don't care to see it. But people complained something that didn't look good. They actually made corrections to the CGI while it was still playing and sent it to all the theaters and made it better. So it's getting harder and harder. See, that's kind of stuff that you learn with the Mandela effect. But let's go back to here now. Paranormal. I love the paranormal. I mean, if you actually scroll down to this channel, all my first videos are actually paranormal. Now, I did some stupid things, like I tried to possess a doll named Tater Tot. I made a handmade Ouija board because apparently a handmade Ouija board has more power than the ones you buy in the store. So I made a handmade Ouija board. I had a doll. I tried to possess it. It didn't work. But
they're not made with power. It's our energy that does that, or others' energy.
There's a list here, Amber. And this is what this list here says. And we're going to get into the Bigfoots too, but you know, before we get there, let's look at what this says about paranormal first. It says, what is ghost hunting? 10 things to know before you go. And I wanted to check with you, Amber, if you like what they put down for these 10s. It says, number 1, never go alone, which makes sense, right? I mean, if you can go with somebody.
I love going alone.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
I do my best alone.
I guess for safety reasons, you know, they probably want you to not go alone. It says choose accessible locations. I guess it's basically saying, you know, choose the right. I mean,
if you're a beginner, then that makes sense. But I mean, I don't mind putting on some boots and hiking up a couple of hillsides or anything.
Yeah. And then check it out during the day. I guess that makes sense because to know the spot you're checking if you check it out during the day. But now it doesn't mean you won't get paranormal during the day either. People think paranormal only happens at night. Paranormal,
no, it's just creepier at night.
Hours a day.
You know, you're losing a lot of your vision at night, so you're relying on what little bit you can see with a flashlight or just your bare eyes, and you know, it's a little creepier.
Yeah.
And then here
At night,
it
that's
says
the obvious.
prepare carefully, which common sense, you want to prepare. I mean, I guess prepare is, you know, like when Bob and I went on an investigation one time, you know, we actually took a little bottle, went into a church and filled it up with holy water, you know, make sure nobody looks. I mean, I guess we had that with us. But the thing is, even though we took some holy water, we didn't see nothing to be able to use it. So I think Bob, I can't remember, he decided he hated his cat, and I think he took the holy water and threw it on the cat to see if it would go away or something. You know, Bob, Dr. Wu. And then it says, say a prayer for protection and guidance. Now, that's a tricky one. That really is a tricky one because it says, say a prayer for protection and guidance. Now, Amber, I admit, I am not a religious person. So if I try to make a prayer, it's not going to be real because I am not a real churchgoer, right? Or will prayer work anyway?
I mean, you don't have to go to church to pray. That's a huge misconception.
But don't you got to be a believer? I mean, like you said, positive energy. If I don't believe in it in the first place, I'm not going to be giving a prayer a positive energy.
I mean, as far as protection goes, you can even just kind of meditate and imagine like a protective bubble around you or mirrors, or, you know, it goes, there's a lot of things you can do. I mean, you can carry like black tourmaline. There's a lot of different things you can do to protect yourself. But that doesn't mean it's not
calling out to the world.
Like toddlers.
100%. And me, I am just very close with nature and the world around me. So pretty much you just have to find that balance. So it doesn't have to be a religious connection necessarily. It just has to be a thankful, positive connection. And I think the rest would shape and shield you.
Man,
right. I mean, there's a lot of ways to protect yourself.
Look at that. We got a lot of great people in the chat. I love it. I love it.
We do.
But, you know, like I said a minute ago, ghosts are like toddlers. Sometimes they're going to listen, sometimes they're not. Sometimes it does not matter how much you protect yourself. If they want to come home with you or do something, they're going to. It depends on how much power they have, how much strength, I guess, they have.
That's true. And then actually, I want to, hold on a second, 1 second. I want to take this off the screen. I want to do a cheap plug. Started back up yesterday. Connor jumped on when he could. I started up Horror Talk back up. Connor jumped on a little bit. We talked, you know, we do movie talks. We do horror talk. We do mostly horror movies, but we did a Spider-Man yesterday, and I used to make music videos. And some people send me emails, Eric, when are you doing the music videos again? And I want to apologize because Connor knows this. I had a strike on the channel because Connor and I did a video on Venom. We did a video, give it positive feedback. And for whatever reason, they took down that video and they gave me a strike. And we didn't show no movie footage of Venom. So I don't know how the hell they took that channel down and gave me a strike. Now, when you get a strike, and when I do a lot of music videos, you think that would get you the strike, but it didn't. So now the strike goes away tomorrow. I'll be able to start making my music videos. What that is I take good old-fashioned 80s, 90s music, and I mix it in with some good-ass fucking movies that matches the song. I think it's kick-ass, and Connor told me he has a friend that actually looks forward to it. That makes me feel great.
Yes, and that friend is in here right now, the walking legend. Chris Hurley. He walks all around the panhandle of Florida, hundreds of miles per week. And you guys have seen him in my videos, going to the Bellamy Bridge and to other future videos and adventures. So definitely keep an eye out for the walking legend. And he's be spotted all the way in Flat Rock, all the way down to Panama City. So from the mermaids up to the boogers. It's amazing.
And like I said, it's all different songs, you know, Motley Crue, Kickstart My Heart, Crank Style. That's from the movie Crank. Die Hard movies with the Offspring songs, So there's a lot of good stuff on there. But let's get back to my list here, because I love having these wonderful guests to give me an opinion about these. And then we're going to talk about, can these help out with the Bigfoot community? Okay, so don't just charge in.
I love that one.
I guess that's saying, like, don't go in there and be an ass and start yelling at the ghosts and stuff. Show that you're there to be friends. You show that you're there for good reasons. Is that what you think it means, Amber?
As far as being negative and yelling, I don't agree with that. But I think you need to walk in with confidence. Don't ever go into a place fearful or being like, hey, if there's anybody in here, don't hurt me. You're just asking for trouble doing that. Go in there and hold your head high. Use your voice. Use your confidence.
Our good friend, Purgity, a Paranormal of New York, she was actually on, I can't remember if she was on the Paranormal Chop Shop or Sam Smith's channel. They both share channels. She was on one of those channels just a couple of days ago. And now on her same broadcast, I don't know if she knows this, I jumped on after her. So it was a great time.
The 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon, brother.
Amber, I do have a question for you on this, because I have a good friend named Clown from Clown Paranormal Van Life. He's actually a demon hunter. He hunts demons, and one of his things that always attracts demons. And he tells me this. I'm just telling you guys. I can't tell you what's true or not. He says one of the key things that helps him to find a demon is peanut butter. He uses peanut butter.
Protein.
He says something about the smell and stuff, but peanut butter attracts demons. Have you heard of that?
I've never heard that.
No, I've never heard of that either.
And trust me, this guy's the real deal, man. This fucker guy's the real deal. I watch his stuff live, and he is not afraid to call.
Nothing's impossible. So
there was
he
a
may
ghost
be onto something.
One of his friends, it was a girl, like, pulled her hair, and he was just like on the live video, he was like, "You fucking pull my hair, you son of a bitch." I mean, he was just like I'm like, holy shit, man! Somebody's grabbing and pulling. But and then the next day, because we're good friends, and he showed me that he had bruises on him after that investigation. Because what he does is, it's hard to prove to people what's real or not. Most people think it's all bullshit. So what Clown would do is, and guys, there's nothing sexual. He'll show me his body, and then after it goes on investigation, he'll show me the body again the next day to, from here to bruises. Now, could he went home and hit himself? I guess. But this guy's the real deal. Trust me, he's the real deal. So that's good. That's good. But the peanut butter always gets me, like, wow, peanut butter. Huh. Okay. Now,
I don't think he would ever hurt himself to do that. But there's definitely other people, bigger channels, I think, that would.
I love Clown. He's my buddy.
He's cool.
I have a couple of live shows with him on here. He's awesome. He investigates Bigfoot and paranormal. He doesn't just do paranormal. He does it all. Now, number 7. I mean, no kidding, no shit, right? Talk to spirits. I mean, that's why you're there, right? I mean, that's obvious. Now this is a good one. Follow your instincts. You got to follow your gut, because a lot of it is feeling, right? I mean, when you go into a place, sometimes you can feel there's something off at this place. You feel there's something in there. And then you're basically going off your instincts. I mean, like Amber, when you walk into a place for the first time, are you basing your stuff off your instincts of what you're feeling?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I always rely on my intuition and just what I feel and what I hear. I mean, never second guess yourself. If you get weird vibes or good vibes or you feel something, always trust it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, how about this one where it says, say another prayer, but out loud? And
I mean, if that's what you have to do, that's what you got to do.
But it's always intriguing to me, because because it makes it like, this is just me from the outside in thinking, this is what probably most normal people are thinking. Like, if a prayer does stuff, then I guess you have to say religion's real. Then, because why would a prayer even mean something if it's a ghost? If it's
there's a lot of religions though. There's tons of religions if you study it, across the world, and a lot of different beliefs.
Hey
so,
guys,
I mean, a lot of people have that higher power they believe in.
And I'm not disking prayers, people. I'm just asking questions. Like is a prayer that important to investigation? Does it make a difference? That's why we're here. That's what we're discussing.
I think it can. It absolutely can. And I think it depends on your situation. If you're just going in someplace and you don't hear nothing, you don't feel anything, and you're just like shouting out stuff, you might get something stirred up as well. You know what I mean? You could make something if it's a little angry or upset.
Well, let me ask Connor. Hey, Connor, you've gone to a lot of paranormal investigations. I hear you talk about it. We talk about some of your investigations. Have you ever went to an investigation where you felt that you needed to do a prayer? And if you did it help you by any chance?
Again, all the time when I'm in my investigations, I'm connecting with the forest, with spirits. So it's not necessarily prayer; it's just positive thought. But just for example, when we were in Mayaca, I know some of the older women said prayers, and then we got flooded with activity. So yes, I think it opens the door. Once I start talking to the great creator and then just saying, yeah, we're looking for the descendants of Cain. And then also when you are, in close, resistance of these creatures and on your back against the wall, they have said, call out to the creator because we are made in their image. And these beasts and demonic forces lack that purity, so somehow they have to surrender to it. So you always have the great creator in your soul inside of you. You just have to be aware of that connection, and I try to be closer to that connection than I am to this normal world, and that's left me on the outside of a lot of rooms, but inside a lot of circles I need to be in.
And that's why I ask these questions, people. I'm not asking these just to look like I'm disking prayers. I'm not. My grandpa was a minister. He made furniture for churches. I went with him as a kid, but this stuff fascinates me because I haven't been into a situation on a paranormal investigation where I felt like I needed to do a prayer. And I was curious if somebody actually actually did it and it worked. Like I said, me and my brother, we brought, holy water, and that's a good thing when you have to use it. I mean, if we had to use it, I guess that would be a bad thing. Here we go.
Yeah. Just like Purgatory said, if it's something you believe in, that gives you strength. When you're praying, especially even if it's quiet or out loud, you're manifesting that protection to yourself and everybody around you. So, it's going to work because you're manifesting that.
This one's
you're
interesting
that you're believing it.
Because Amber, this one says leave the location as you found it. Now, have you gone to investigation where you accidentally picked up something and didn't put it back where it belongs to, and somehow kind of backfired on you by any chance?
So no, I think this is referring to, and I've seen this so much on YouTube. People go in places just because they're abandoned. Somebody still owns that. Okay, it might be somebody that lives in another state, but somebody still owns that. Don't take things out of houses. I cannot stand when people do that. If something belonged to somebody else, it's not yours. Go in there. Leave your footprints. Don't touch the stuff. If you touch something, just don't take it. Okay, people have a bad habit. There's a lot of people that will take these things and sell them, or whatever they do with them. I don't agree with that at all. I don't think you should take anything. One of my cousins was with us at Bobby Mackey's, and she likes rocks, and she wanted to take some rocks home, and we're like, no, it was just out in a parking lot, this big huge parking lot. Don't take a rock. But I don't think anybody should take things, and I think that's what it's referring to. Okay. As far as like taking items.
How many times all of us have heard stories where people went to their own house. There was never any paranormal, and they went to start to they tear down a wall or something to build something. They did something to the structure. And then all of a sudden, after they did something to the structure, paranormal started to happen. I hear that story all the time.
Yeah, a lot of times when you're changing the house they lived in, that can kind of stir them up. They don't like it. You know.
I've actually lived in a house that was like that. Years ago, my grandparents ended up getting this house in a lottery for $1. And the story behind the house is that the previous owner who had it, he ended up killing himself. And after he killed himself, a bunch of satanic worshippers went in there. And the reason that they found this out when they were going in there and remodeling the whole house was they pulled back the fridge, and there was literally like swastikas and pentagrams on the walls, and all kinds of really bad writing and stuff on the walls. And we used to have paranormal activity in that house all the time growing up. We used to break dishes, and my brother, he was older than me at the time, and he would tell my parents that he would see this little man in the hallway every night and things like that. I definitely believe that when somebody takes their time and spends their life and puts their energy into a home, a building, whatever it is, if they're a caretaker of a land, whatever, they're putting a piece of themselves and their energy into that, and it leaves a mark. And I think that when it gets changed, it definitely causes some sort of reaction to it.
I just want to say on the D Live, we multi-stream. People don't know that we actually multi-stream to D Live and Facebook. We got a new follower on D Live, Praney7. Well, welcome. Now, hey, Dr. Wu, are you there?
His mic's off.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm here. I'm live with you. How's it going there? Over.
Going good, sir.
I'm here. I'm hooked up. I'm
going to ask Amber about a situation that Bob and I have. I want to see.
Sorry, my internet went out for a minute.
Oh, your internet went out?
Yes.
But you're back. So Amber, what did this sound like to you? One time, Bob in the UK, he lives in a house that's he's gotten marks before, he's gotten scratches and all that. But there was a time that somehow I tore my pec. Somehow I tore it. My pec muscle just got torn. We don't know how it happened. It happened. And then Bob, that same night that I tore my pec in the UK, Bob got hurt with the markings around his area, like the same night, like the same day, and he didn't know I got hurt. I didn't know he was hurt. And the next day, we talked about oh my God, it was almost exact same time, even though the UK has different hours, but almost happened within the same kind of hour. I mean, would that be? We couldn't decide, would that be paranormal or would that be a UFO gray thing or something? Or have you heard of something like that, Amber? Where 2 injuries, almost the same?
It was, were you guys talking about it that same day?
No, Bob, what was your injury on that day?
Well, it was my pec muscle, and it pissed me off because it hurt like hell, and I couldn't figure it out. And then later on in the show, I was kind of belly aching, and then you're like, "Hey, Bob, you know what happened today?" I'm like, "What? Your pec muscle?" I said, "Shut up." Of course it's your pec muscle. Before I got a fucking leg cramp because you got a leg cramp in the States, and I found out later. Eric and I don't talk every day, guys. We used to use these shows to talk from distance. This is kind of our communication time right now. It is. We just turned our communication time into a show. That's what's kind of cool. But Eric would be like belly aching. I said, "Yeah, I got that same injury. What the hell's going on?" It's like it kept psychically bouncing back and forth.
Yeah, because I told Bob, I go, "Bob, I just got an X-ray because it was so painful, and they found a rib." And it was like, "What? When this exactly you felt this?" And it was just weird. And it's like, is that paranormal? Or some people saying it's because we're the same DNA, and it's just like, what category would that be considered?
That just goes. That would have to go. In my opinion, I think how you felt when it happened. Like, did you feel any kind of like paranormal stuff going on? Did you, or was it just an injury? Like, that's just something you know what I mean? Like, I really can't say what it was because I wasn't there.
True.
If that makes sense.
No,
Well, you got to investigate every single bit of it. Like Bob talked about scratches, and Bob will wake up with some markings on his tattoo that wasn't there before and stuff, and it's almost like
oh, that's
is it paranormal, or I hate to use the word probe in a way, but do we get probe because Bob would get markings. Now I wouldn't exactly get markings, even though I got a rip. Mine's more of I can't move. Like I'm looking straight ahead. I can see, but I just can't move. And I want to move, but I can't. Bob actually gets markings on him.
Yeah, I got scratched.
Almost like, can't move because they're doing something to him, and somehow we're connecting?
So are you talking about what I guess modern day doctors would call sleep paralysis? Is that what you're talking about?
I mean, it could be. That's why we're discussing it. I mean, I don't know what it could be.
Totally.
I mean, I've had one experience with sleep paralysis, but it wasn't sleep paralysis. It was a spirit doing it. Like when you're awake and you're looking around and something's holding you down and you can feel that force, that's not sleep paralysis.
Exactly. Bingo. I agree with you 100%.
They call it sleep paralysis and tell you, oh, you'll be fine. Just I think it's just to avoid, talking about it, or, it's something they can't prescribe something for. So it's all labeled sleep paralysis, like in this general term.
Now I'm going to pull this other one up. This one here is called Top 10 Paranormal. And guys, we will wrap this into Bigfoot, trust me. But this one is considered top 10 paranormal myths. Okay. Now, paranormal facts exist. The term paranormal applies to anything currently beyond the range of scientific explanation. And guys, that's exactly right. When you use the word paranormal, it's just more than just ghosts. I mean, paranormal covers a whole huge range of the paranormal field. Like it says here, it's beyond the range of scientific explanation. So anyone who claims they have access to the rule book of the paranormal and they know foolproof way of making a ghost go boo is probably, no offense, a liar. Probably don't know what the hell they're talking about. Now, like we all know this. This is common sense. Let's be honest. There are people who watch TV all the time only think that ghosts come out at night. But here it says ghosts only come out at night. Of course, there's a lot of reason to ghost hunt at night. The world quiets down as the day fades away. Some locations only let you enter after they close in the daytime hours. It is much creepier at night. For TV shows, they can put in the music and they're making something haunting without the haunting even existing. Most importantly, it's the best time to play with your sweet night vision camera. But if you want to chase ghosts, you can just as effectively do it during the day. According to the most paranormal researchers, in fact, it might even be more effective time because that's when the dead were probably most alive. So when you hear that, when I read that, it's saying that, the ghosts, they're awake. When they're alive, they're awake during the day. At nighttime, they're asleep. And sometimes they say, I forgot the word is, that a recurring events that sometimes a ghost will go through, like a record prayer. I'm a prayer. And here we go with the prayers again. So Amber, with all the research you've done, have you, in your own words, have you seen more ghosts during the day versus the night, or vice versa?
For me, equally, but at nighttime, like when I filmed in my woods here, during the day, my geese are honking, my ducks are quacking, the chickens are crowing, the dogs are barking. There's traffic. There's people outside talking. It's so hard to hear things because you have everybody living during the day. When it's nighttime and it's quiet, I think for me, I'm able to hear better, to feel it better because there's not so much distraction. But, dead people will walk up to me in the middle of a store too. So, I mean, it just happens.
Nice.
It can definitely happen during the day.
Contamination. Yeah, you're smart. You're eliminating contamination, which means eliminating variables. You're like,
Right.
you have to eliminate as many variables as you can when you do research. So, okay, 3 a.m, everyone's asleep. There should be no human voices. You're doing it right. That's
Right.
nice. For science, yeah, you got to do it in the middle of the night. You can
Exactly.
do it in the
Well,
daytime.
we're gonna skip number 3 because we're gonna go back to it because there's no physical evidence of Bigfoot. We're gonna go back to that. And basically, it's not saying there's like no evidence of Bigfoot. What they're saying is there's actually technically more evidence that the paranormal exists over the Bigfoot. When you read it, there's a lot more evidence. I mean, it makes sense, right? There's probably a lot more people investigate the paranormal versus the Bigfoot. You know, so if you got more people investigating one than the other, you're going to probably get more evidence versus the other. And, you know, Bigfoot's a little bit harder because, you know, you're looking for DNA. I don't know if you can get DNA from a dead ghost. Maybe you can, but I don't know if you can. Now,
Ectoplasm.
here's a good one. Only all buildings are haunted. Now, that's a good one because, let's be honest, again, 90%, not here, everybody here is open-minded. But the majority of the people, when they think of ghosts, they think of haunted houses and they think of graveyards. But people don't realize that people have died all around this world on every piece of the land, continent there is. You don't have to have a house, a building, or a graveyard to see a ghost. They're everywhere.
They are everywhere, definitely. But you know, when you look up these articles and then it's like they want scientific proof, how much do we really want the government involved in all of this proof? Because that's the last thing I'm ever going to do is go find some government agency and be like, hey, I've got this evidence. I mean, I think they need to stay out of it. Honestly, they're just going to find a way to tax spirits or something. I mean, I don't know, but I don't want, I mean, like with Bigfoot as well, do we really want them, you know, out there trying to hunt these creatures and do this, you know, do stuff to them? We don't want that. We want to protect them.
See,
we just want to see them.
See, I know Connor's got to leave very soon, so I want to ask Connor this, because Connor, you know, you went on paranormal, you hear voices, you probably hear knocks, right? Say you're on a Bigfoot investigation, it's at night. You know, your best equipment is your eyes and ears. You know, a lot of times people hear knocking, you know, they're thinking, what made that knock? But you don't really hear a majority of the Bigfoot researchers say a ghost, a spirit could have been the one knocking. I mean, why is that not a possibility with majority of the people? Why do you think a lot of Bigfoot researchers just don't want anything to do with paranormal when some of the sounds and stuff they're seeing could be paranormal? With paranormal, people said they seen red eyes, right? You go Bigfoot hunting, I seen red eyes. Those red eyes could be paranormal and not Bigfoot.
It's hard enough for people to be taken seriously with the physical evidence that it's already mountaintop high, you know. So the woo category, a lot of people do avoid that because it's hard to prove it. And I love it though, because I love drawing the correlations from urban legends, historical encounters, and the current ones that come from credible people like the police, the military, college professors. And if you can combine all that to the high science of protons and electrons being able to become waveform and vanish, honestly, anything is really possible. When I'm out there, my vision is very wide. I'm looking for Sasquatch, Mothman, two moons, UFOs, the ground shaking below me, of course, gremlins, elves, fairies, and just pretty much everything inside of me and out. There's inner demons that are trying to surface at all moments. And when you're out there in nature, that most of it's going to be healing, but maybe some dark entities are closer than you could ever imagine. I know Amber's been out there plenty of times, and the Woodman, makes himself pretty well known. And then during the day, it looks like a pretty peaceful place. So you have to just open your eyes wide and be ready for anything. And that's what I try to spread. And all the people that, get down with me, I know they think wide and they're not only stuck on physicalness. And right there, we're walking miracles, guys. We have deja vu. We're walking electrical balls. Moms feel their child. Love interest, it's all magical. So we are the woo, and we own the night. Y'all already know that.
So, Scratch Florida, you've been doing some Bigfoot investigations and all that. Have you ever once went on one and actually you didn't want to tell anybody, or maybe you have that you felt that this is not Bigfoot that I'm feeling out here. I'm feeling paranormal. I'm feeling spirits instead.
It's not necessarily. See, there's a lot of. What's the right way to word this? There's a lot of. I personally don't see Sasquatch, Bigfoot, whatever you want to call it. I don't see it as it's a strictly flesh and blood creature. So it already has its own paranormal aspects to it. That's just what I believe already. I know there's people that aren't gonna necessarily agree with that. But you explained to me why there's so many people for hundreds of years in written history who say that this thing exists, but we can't get a clear picture, or things like that. How long? I mean, what? It was in the 1950s that we discovered gorillas. It didn't take very long once we put people on the ground and we're out there looking for them to get a clear picture of them and to study them.
Good point. That's right. People don't realize that we just found them.
Exactly. It wasn't that long ago. It was only 70 years ago.
Yeah.
So if here we are, we're talking about it. Let's be real. Okay. There's hundreds, thousands of written accounts all over the entire world. Okay. This is a creature that, and when you talk to people who have encountered it, who say that there's some sort of phenomenon, whether it's red eyes, some people say that it can cloak, some people can say that it can teleport, that they see orbs, that they get hit with what they describe as infrasound, which I personally have experienced that 4 out of the last times that I've been on. Okay. So I don't think it's infrasound. I think that they're hitting me with some sort of communication waves, whether it's radiation, RF, electromagnetic field, whatever it is. I don't know whether they're trying to communicate. I don't know whether they're trying to debilitate me as some sort of prey. I don't know, but I like you heard Amber say before, I have something going on that's dormant, and I'm very sensitive to it. And I'm actually in the process of purchasing a freaking RF meter because I want to find out exactly what this is. And because there has to be, even though there is the woo aspect to it, there has to be some sort of evidence that I can provide to say, well, because if you look at the definition of radiation sickness, dizzy spells, nausea, debilitation, which is exactly what most people describe when they're hit with infrasound. So, there's a lot of correlations there between the scientific part of it and then the woo side. It's just you have to be able to connect the dots and open-minded enough to connect the dots.
Nice.
Well, Connor's got to be leaving with us really soon because Connor's going to be jumping on Space Out Radio. And Jeff Harding's gonna replace Connor for us. Jeff took some cocaine, so he's ready to keep that speed going. He's ready to, drink a lot of coffee. Jeff, you ready to take the place of Connor?
I don't think I could drink enough coffee to do that, but.
So Connor, what do you want to say right before you got to jump off and join the other channel?
I'm super excited for the future for everybody. Tonight is going to be awesome. Jeff, thanks for popping in. Matt, keep up the great work. You're asking great questions and your boots on the ground. Amber, it's every day with you. You're killing it on TikTok. You're at 25K followers. Keep killing it. Dr. Wu and Eric, love having you. Having these conversations. We've became such good friends over the last 2 years, and it's definitely helped us probably in so many different ways. And I'm really looking forward to the Bigfoot conference in Lakeland. I'm going to be a speaker there with a bunch of big names, and then of course the Bigfoot Odyssey 168. And then my boy Jack McClellan is making a sequel to Void Cat. And then I'm also acting in a horror film out of Tallahassee that I play a murder victim from a female slasher. And I'm going to be like all bloody and tied up. It's going to be really cool. Have a good one, guys. I am about to pop. Half naked. We'll see. They might try to get me all the way naked. It's an indie short film, so be ready.
Maybe one day
catch me out on Space Out Radio later tonight.
Well, maybe when me and Dr. Wu make our sequel, we'll make sure you're in it. So Jeff,
you jump off already?
Yeah, he starts in about a few minutes, and
5 minutes.
So Jeff, your channel's great. You talk about researching about equipment on what's been used, what's not been used. What do you think about the majority of the Bigfoot community thinking about the paranormal? Because I don't know if you heard our conversations. I was saying when people go out in the woods and they hear knocking and stuff, they're thinking of what animal, what's this? There's a good chance it could be a spirit. What do you think the Bigfoot community thinks of the paranormal, Jeff? You're more inside the community versus I am.
Well, I mean, I've always said that I think that orbs are a real phenomena and UFOs are a real phenomena. I believe ghosts are a real phenomena, just as much as the mystery of Bigfoot for a lot of people. From a research standpoint, I research Bigfoot as a flesh and blood creature. And I'm not saying that there's no connection between a Bigfoot and orbs, but, until I see one fart out an orb, in front of me, I can't really draw that connection from a research standpoint. Now, I know that that's easier for other people to do because, they just approach it differently. I'm fascinated when I hear people talk about UFOs. I have an interest in it because I acknowledge that they likely exist, But, like I say, the relationship between, one area of the paranormal to another area, and people draw these connections usually by life experience. They've seen something or they've experienced something, where there's a combination of two of these areas happening at one time. But I also think there's a large percentage of the Bigfoot community who just open their minds up to the fact that, well, it could be this, it could be that, it could be that. And I'm not here to say it couldn't be. I'm just here from a research standpoint saying until I see it, I can't say that it is, So it's a fine line for me. Even though I'm open to all these different areas of the paranormal, I'm very careful to say, well, one relates to the other in this way as if it's a fact, because till I see it, I can't really approach it that way.
If you could get that shot of a Bigfoot farting out an orb, dude, that would be the biggest thing on TikTok, on Facebook, on YouTube you ever get.
Yeah.
Amber, have you started to go on any Bigfoot investigations by any chance yet? I think you were talking with Matt and stuff. You guys might be doing something in the future of doing some research, because I would love to build a research. If I was going on a research, if I was building a team, fucking Jeff Hardy's on my team automatically. Dr. Wu, Florida, but I want a medium too, because I want a person to see what you feel. Somebody who has more gifts than I have, because why not have more than less? Have you actually gone on a Bigfoot hunt by any chance?
Yeah, sporadically, just throughout the years. I was going to log into this on my laptop, but I'm using my phone because I have a really cool picture I wanted to show you. It was a quick video I did. It was less than a minute on some family property at a cemetery, and when I go through videos, I'll go frame by frame, and just to see what I'm getting. But there's literally, you can see a full body. Now, I don't know if it's a Bigfoot. My uncle was apparently a closet Bigfoot person, and I didn't find out till recently. And he's like showing me all this stuff where there's, trees broken and all these different things. And I'm like, whoa, I didn't know you were into this. But, I did that video where he had seen some stuff, but there's a full body and it's all black. So I don't know if it was like a spirit, I don't know what it is, but I would like to get some opinions on it, but I can't show it right now because, I'm using my phone.
I thought you were going to say you had a picture of Bigfoot farting out an orb. I was going to say you got that. Is this the night I become a believer in the Bigfoot connection? But I just wanted to say really quick to Nikki. She was asking what channel is SOR. That's Spaced Out Radio, and that's Dave's channel. But if you search Spaced Out Radio, Nikki, you'll find it.
I have it. Cool. I have it here.
Well, everybody should have.
Oh, I'm Chad Smith here. I am Chad Smith.
Connor will be on there, so everyone should have it right now.
Well, actually, I don't know if I want to put this link because if I put this link in the chat, it's giving my channel, right?
Yeah, do it right at the end.
Well, guys, now actually, Space Out Radio goes on for 3 hours, so you'll have plenty of hours. Trust me, Connor's not gonna slow down at any second of the show.
No, we won't.
Absolutely.
And just to comment on you saying that I'm automatically on your team, just for the record, I won't be on the team if Dr. Wu's not on it. So
I'll be there.
That's the only way I'm on it is if Dr. Wu's on it.
You think I will actually have a team without my brother on there?
I don't know, but
yeah.
I know he brings the best. I know he brings the best weed to the field.
Jeff,
So,
Jeff, I already have it all planned out. Jeff, you're going to be my electronic guy. You're going to have all the equipment. Bob's going to be the bartender cook. You have all the beers, food ready for everybody for the count. Sasquatch, Florida, and Connor, they're the crazy fuckers. We're going to send the young guys out to do all the climbing and stuff.
I'll be the
and we're going to have Amber to feel the areas that feel safe for us to go on. For us.
So I have a question for Amber. I'm not really familiar with your background, but do you do like remote viewing?
What was it? I couldn't.
Do you do remote viewing?
Do you do any remote viewing?
I haven't tried it yet.
So
as of now, no.
That's one area of the paranormal that I think that I've had some experience with, just because I was talking to some people who I did an interview with, and two of the three on experience and practice remote viewing. And they had told me some accounts where they had utilized that, and it was intriguing. I mean, again, I haven't seen it to a point to where I'm like, oh yeah, there's a connection there. But boy, if you could do that, combine that with Bigfoot research, those would be two areas that would be pretty connective as far as being.
Whenever I channel spirits for people, like I'll channel loved ones who have passed away, like I can see like they're inside of their house or what clothes they were wearing or the hospital bed or a chair they had. They'll show me those things, but I'm not sure that that's, the same thing, but I can view it that, like, spirits that I'm trying to connect with that way.
Yeah.
Well, Eric, the She Squatchers. I mean, Jen with She Squatchers does remote viewing. And
yeah, well, they were paranormal researchers before they went into the Bigfoot field.
Yeah.
And that's why they're so interesting, because they said they could feel it, and now Nona, a boss, she's behind the idea. She loves this dream team. So, if you look at the thumbnail, I don't have Jeff on there. We do look like a good team. So I'm going to try to talk to Discovery Plus channel after the show. Get a hold of them, say, you put us together, you're going to get fucking ratings. You think you got ratings with mountain monsters? You haven't seen nothing yet. Dr. Wu, he'll be everybody's favorite.
You want a Bigfoot? I'll bring you a Bigfoot. How big you want it? Just give us the description. We've got it. You want a toe? I can get you a toe. Yeah, we'll get a ghost. Well, how big you want the ghost? We're gonna get it on camera. We're gonna put it in a can. We're gonna catch it. I can catch a ghost.
Yeah, you know, I've had experiences with different parts of the paranormal, but like I say, I mean, having them combined together. I mean, I've had ghost experiences. I remember when uh, my grandmother was like 90, her 91st birthday. We were celebrating her birthday, and I asked her that night. She blew out some candles, and I said, "What did you wish for?" And she says, "Well, I can't tell you." And I said, "Well, did you wish you could live to be 100?" And she goes, "Oh no." She goes, "Why would I want to do that?" She says, "I've had enough great life experiences at 91. I don't need to live any longer if it ain't in the cards." And she passed away that night. She
Oh,
fell asleep in her chair and didn't wake up. Hands folded in her lap. And so at her funeral, my wife was pregnant with our first son, and he was about a month from his due date. So she was really pregnant. And I took his ultrasound picture, and my grandma's casket had a little drawer that opened up that was built into the lid so you could place trinkets and stuff. And I placed a picture of the ultrasound in there and shut the drawer. And when we brought our kid home from the hospital, the first night we had installed the little baby monitors, one in his room, one in our room. And that night, I woke up at like 2 a.m. and I could hear my grandmother's voice singing over
wow.
this monitor. And I was like, I just laid there, just like not sure what to think of this. So I got up and walked in his bedroom, and there was a little mobile that kind of just hangs there above his crib, you know. And when I walked into the room, it was just gently swaying, like there was an energy or a breeze that had moved it. There's no way my kid couldn't lift his head up, you know.
Oh, wow.
And so I stood there and looked at it, and I just sat there and I thought, man, this is really weird. So I went back to bed, didn't hear it the rest of the night. About 2 nights later, it happened again. And this time I was telling my wife about it, and she was a little freaked out. You know, she's not really too open-minded to that sort of thing. And she was a little bit freaked out by it. And so it was like a week later, I had heard it again. And I walked in the bedroom and I said, and I just spoke the words out as just like a normal voice. I said, "Grandma," I says, "I want you to know you're always welcome to come in here and see my son. I'm just asking that, sometimes when you sing out loud, it kind of freaks Joni out. And I'm wondering if there's some way we could find this way where you could be with them, but not do that." And it never happened again. But I was just trying to approach it from that neutral standpoint. Like, I don't want to piss off grandma. I don't want to freak my wife out anymore either, you know.
Wow.
But it was a real, yeah, 3 different times I heard her in here in the bedroom singing to him. And every time I'd go in and look at him, he'd be laying there wide-eyed. He was not asleep. And it's just the craziest thing, you know.
Wow. I would have grabbed what they call that, those proton packs, and walked in and fired one up and said, "Damn you, Lilith, tempting my child." And then I would zap her and then put her in the box.
Yeah.
Got Lilith out of here. Famous for trying to lure children to their death. I'm joking.
Well,
the
interesting thing is all my cousins, I'm the only one with my last name that was going to carry on the family legacy. I mean, I've got like 7 or 8 different cousins who all have kids, but they were all my dad's sister's kids so there was nobody carrying on the family name except for me.
Wow.
And so I just kind of felt like, I wonder if that was the attraction for her to keep coming, to keep doing that, was that this was the great grandson that was going to kind of carry that legacy on with the name. But
nice. Yeah. A few days left on Earth. A couple days left. Waiting for the train.
Maybe your grandma heard enough from you, just that little bit you said, and felt comfortable.
Yeah.
There's no reason
to
come back.
I don't doubt that if she had a presence in this room, that the presence continued to keep visiting. perhaps if I'd walk in the room, I'd still see the mobile move and stuff if or see him awake, paying attention to it. But I think she was just respectful enough not to make it audible to where it climb over the monitor. To where, if you're gonna sing, don't do it so out loud to where it's coming over the baby monitor.
Well,
I don't know.
within that top 10 list that we read earlier said one of it was talk to the ghost.
Well, yeah, you invited her in. Now, remember, I to debunk and everything, but from what I heard, number one is if you have a ghost, if you invite the ghost in, it comes in. And good or bad, you invited her in. You're like, and you put the drawer in, like, basically you're thinking, come on in anytime you want. You invited her in. I know if you invite a ghost in, they'll come in.
And I think that you could probably also set boundaries to where you can make it to where a ghost can't get in. If you've defined those boundaries to them. I mean, and that's not just with the paranormal. I mean, there's a history of that through the church, through Christianity, that, people who are, Christians will say that you've got the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit was given so that you could command the power of the Holy Spirit. So you could say, Satan, you're not allowed in my house anymore. I'm not going to allow you to come in here and do this. And they wouldn't experience those things anymore.
And definitely, I don't want any ghosts in the bedroom because that's my private area. You stay out of my bedroom. Amber, I don't know all the. I hate to use the word gifts because it makes it sound like you're an X-Men or you're part of the X-Men or something.
Arsenal.
but I know I watched the episode with you and Matt. If Florida, your name is Matt? Did I say that? Yeah, I want to make sure. I don't want to hurt myself. Like, I'm not Matt, but you talked to Matt and you said you saw something next to him. So you can see you see things next to a person. Is your gift that you just see the person, or can you, like, say Jeff wants to see his grandma again? Can you actually ask for his grandma to come back, or is it just who's ever there?
Usually, I could absolutely call on a specific one to come through, but usually a lot of times other spirits will come through, and it could be ones that are just around your property, or it could be somebody, when I do readings like that, I usually always ask who they want to connect with, the person's name and even how they're related, because I want to call on a specific person, because if not, it could be like their great grandma that they never met, and I'm sitting here describing this person and they're like, I have no idea who you're talking about. But yeah, I could definitely call on a specific person. And I think that's really sweet, Jeff, that you had that conversation with her. I'm sure she wasn't trying to scare anybody. She just wanted to be there and see him.
What about animals? Animals, I know they're not human, but can you feel animals that have passed away by any chance, or?
I've seen one of our cats that died over the summer. I've seen him, and I've seen one of my dogs that I had. I had him for 17 years. He died about 4 years ago. I don't know. Like, in my opinion, I think animals, people, like, when we kind of come into another life, we could be an animal if we wanted. It doesn't, like, that soul is, it could be whatever, because the one dog that I had for 17 years, it's like we knew each other like our souls knew each other. It was weird. Like, I've never had that with another animal ever since then, but we definitely had like a soul connection. It was definitely different. But I haven't channeled animals, but I can see them sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes.
Is it stronger, better when you're in the same room with the person? Or, when you're talking with Matt, you guys are talking, through the internet. Is it almost?
Oh yeah, same? It can happen. Just, I don't have to be with him. I can definitely channel, face to face too.
Because I see a crazy old man like touching Jeff's head right now. Do you see that crazy man touching his head?
I see it too. It's pretty weird.
Bob? It's just like rubbing his cheeks.
Yeah, I see it too. He's being head stroked at the moment by a large black entity.
but remember, let me ask you this. Now, I know it's the movie The Sixth Sense. I know it's a movie, but The Sixth Sense is basically ghosts need something to be done so they can be free, where they can go wherever they got to go. Has that ever happened like to you where something will not leave you alone until you help it to reach its destination?
Ooh.
I have a lot of them follow me home. There's probably like 25 in the yard right now. I usually go out every month or so, and I'll cross them over. Spirits don't have time. We're the only ones that use time. You know, on the other side, there's not time, so they could be gone for 300 years, and it seems like it's just a few minutes. So they're usually some of them know they're dead, and they just don't want to accept it. They don't want to go to the light when they die. They want to go do whatever, look for somebody, you know, whatever it might be. That part I really don't understand a lot. There's always stuff to learn, but usually I'll talk them into it. Even the angry ones, the mad ones, the ones that come in here and are like screaming and acting crazy. Usually I can talk them into crossing over. But even the ones that just go ahead and go to the light, they can come back and talk to us if they want. It's not like you're trapped. I mean, it's free will. We have free will when we're alive, and we have free will when we're dead.
So does that make you feel good knowing that there is some kind of a light after we crash, you know, after our body, I guess, dies in this world? That there is something out there?
There's so much more. There's so much more.
Because, you know, I was on Tip of TV. I was a guest on their channel, and I've always said that I feel like there's more answers within the paranormal versus any other kind of investigations, because the ultimate question in life is there life after death? And the Tip of TV, they're like, well, you got to watch what you wish for, because what if you found an answer you don't like?
You might get it. You might get exactly what you're looking for. I found that out. You will, if you go asking for something, you will get it. Yeah. Be careful what you bring home.
Now, have you ever had one where you couldn't help and it was like getting aggressive with you because you just couldn't figure out what it needed to cross over?
Yes. I had a shadow man and something similar to an old hag pretty much tormenting me about 10 years ago. What is it?
No, I'm saying that's the person that's behind Jeff right now. The old hag. I'm just joking.
But yeah, I mean, it just takes, some of them don't, I don't know, some of them don't want to cross over and you just kind of have to tell them to leave. Sometimes they do, sometimes they keep coming back. I don't know. I did some protections last week in the house, and you know, I did my saltwater spray on the windows and salted around the house, and you know, I allow a couple spirits in the house. They live with us, but it worked because it was getting noisy in here. It was not the ones that live here. It was other ones coming in and out. And today I saw a man, like full body. I saw him walk through the kitchen, a white t-shirt and jeans. I didn't see his face. It was kind of blurry. And then earlier I saw this big white thing out in the front yard just kind of walk past. I thought it was my dog, and he's back with the goats. I don't know what that was.
Can you turn it off if you wanted to? Like the Star Wars movies, that some Jedis could just turn it off. They could just abandon it. Can you actually say, no more, I don't want to feel it, gone, close it?
No, but I can ignore it. Sometimes it's hard to. If it's really noisy and I'm in a crowded place and it's super noisy and there's a lot of commotion, it's harder for me to connect with them, like when there's other energies going on. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can't really turn it off.
So that's why I can choose to ignore it. I want you, we're going to put you out front during our investigation. Say, feel the forest for us. Feel them.
Usually what spirits like to do to me is make me feel how they passed away. Like if it was a heart attack or an aneurysm, I'll feel that pain. So even if I choose to ignore it, like when I was in the restaurant, sometimes I'll feel it and I'll feel like I'm going to throw up or I'll get really sick, and then they won't quit until I give somebody a message, and that involves me walking up to somebody I don't know and be like, hey, can I talk to you for a minute? Who's this person that passed away? You know, and sometimes that makes me uncomfortable because sometimes you can get that vibe from people that they just don't want to get, you know, they're not going to be receptive to that. But some people are. But that's the part I don't like about it is, you know, when they won't leave me alone.
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
This is anthropologically speaking. Now, this is actually an unusual question. I talk to psychics. They talk about they see ghosts all the time, and I always ask them one question. They always get shocked by it. They get like, I don't understand that question. It's real simple. Do you see white ghosts or black ghosts? And they always look at me like, what do you mean? I said, do you see white ghosts or black? Well, the majority of them are white. I said, okay, it's kind of weird. And I always see white people always see white ghosts, and my black friends always see black ghosts. Huh. So I'm always asking in a non-racial way, not be. It's like, do you ever see black ghosts? For my notes,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I see them however they work.
That's interesting. I never thought about that.
Well, no, it's a weird. It's an anthropology question, and I believe people when they say that because I saw ghosts before. I'm assuming a Mediterranean lady, and then a weird white guy. But other than that, at least I got to see somebody of another ethnicity. And I've asked people before, do you see? They always say white ghosts. White go, well, do you not see any black ghosts or anybody of any other culture? And every once in a while, I'll meet someone and say, yeah, I have. I said, okay, cool. I'm just curious because no one ever says
that. Good question.
Yeah, I mean,
see, good
whatever ethnicity they were alive, that's how I'll see them. Or race, whatever they were, however they are alive is how I see them.
And do they talk to in their language if they died in that language? Like they're trying to talk to you, you're like, I don't understand.
That's the other one. Yeah, do they speak their language? I hear people going over, like ghost hunters are going over to Germany, and they're like, we got something, and they're like listening, and I'm like, wait a minute, now aren't they in Germany? So shouldn't they be speaking German? They always say,
I definitely think they can communicate however they want when they're gone. They can show themselves however they want, I know I once saw a medium on TikTok, and I don't know. I've seen a lot of wild stuff on there, but this woman said that spirits are always going to show you what they looked like when they were very young. That if anybody can see them when they're older, that they're lying to you. And I was like, what?
Oh, that's cool.
I always see them how they were, usually right when they died, or
well,
around that same time.
It brings up an intriguing question.
That's important, yeah.
Do you think that a ghost can, let's say, retain its earthly knowledge that it had while it was alive? Or do they, in death, become privy to all earthly knowledge? Ooh. Meaning, if they spoke German, can they still speak German as a ghost when they're dead? Or if they couldn't speak German, could they speak anything at that point, just because they passed to a side where they could gain knowledge that they didn't have to learn in an earthly way?
I definitely think they could. If you think about it, like people that a lot of us have past lives. You could have been somebody from Germany in a past life. You could have. You can be from wherever. Yeah. So when you're a soul, you learn so much, and you kind of know what's going on. You still recognize your family, your soul family, ones that you love, that you have a connection with. Absolutely.
Well, technically, with the past life, that means reincarnation must have happened, right? Because if I have a past life, I must have been reincarnated.
Well, yeah. If they're speaking a different language, or they can speak your language, that would prove reincarnation. It kind of gives you an answer. If you're in Japan, you're doing a Japanese investigation, and it's starting to speak Swahili at you, like, what the hell? Okay, it must be a reincarnation. People could speak.
So there's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people too that believe that, when you cross over, that there's like a soul contract that you would make ahead of time before you come back, so you would know what situation you're getting into, pretty much how you're going to pass. You're agreeing to these circumstances, even if they're bad, even if it's abuse and not a good circumstance. It's because you have to learn these lessons in life. That's one side of it. Like I said, I'm not sure. I'm always learning about things. Everything that I share is from what I've learned, and everybody sees things differently. So, everybody has different abilities, different ways they perceive things. So that's just one side that I've heard. You can you choose who you make this contract. And if you die when you're 10, that's what you agreed to. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, you may not remember that, when you come back. But that's just kind of what your soul agreed to.
Here's an oddball question. This is an oddball question. But say they put you in a room with 4 other men and women, and they're all supposed to be mediums. Do you think you could feel if one person or 2 of them are bullshitting? Like, can you feel if somebody's a medium that has gifts, or you're like, this person's full of shit. This person doesn't have anything.
See, I try to avoid this answer, but absolutely, I can tell if people are lying. I can. It's like a lot of people have that ability, though. They can kind of see when people are BS. You know, a lot of, like, even with your friends, you're like, you know, if you know people that you know you just kind of get that vibe that they're not telling you the truth. I said,
Amber,
on TikTok, I see a lot of it.
Amber, the only reason I asked this question because on your show that you were on with Matt, you said that Matt has like some abilities. So I'm wondering, like, how do you know he has some abilities? Like you just felt it. Like he actually can see more than he thinks. I mean, that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, how do you know? Like, I always feel bad because you guys, everybody finds somebody, they have an ability. Every time they look at me, there's nothing. I don't have shit.
This guy's a blank canvas.
I get jealous. But
when Eric used to
look
catch
at
a
Matt,
fish,
how do you know
it'd be
that
this
Matt
big?
has
And he'd say it was this big. How big was your fish? 13.
I don't know. It's just the vibe I get because I can tell that it's like I could tell that he was feeling stuff and seeing. I don't know how I could tell, but I could just tell that he was having experiences and just little ones that he may have been brushing off. But
nice.
Yeah, I can't really tell, you know, when somebody's vibing on something like that. But it seems like I have a amplified ability to sense when somebody's not being honest. I feel like Robert De Niro on Meet the Fockers. You know what I mean?
Well, you have an intuition. I think everybody has that.
Well, I think everybody does, but I mean, I think a lot of it comes along with life experiences too. You know, I mean, somebody who lives fairly remotely, you know, kind of a hermit most of their life. Maybe they have a lot of perceptions to the surroundings around them, but when it comes to interacting with individuals and reading them, they aren't very good at it. You know.
Well, yeah, I mean, the more time you spend with people, you learn different people's mannerisms and different kinds of body language. Subconsciously, you kind of just start to pick up on those things. And, you know, I mean, we all might be unique in our own shapes and sizes and colors and genders and whatever, but everybody has a tell, you know, when they're bullshitting. And, you know, you can spend 5 minutes with somebody and kind of get a good feel for how genuine they really are if you know anything about any sort of basic psychology.
I can see that. You know, because a lot of times when Bob and I, we'll finish a show and we'll have like guests on, not you guys, we'll have some guests on. Bob and I, like, that guy was full of shit. You're never going to ask this guy back. Not you guys. I always ask you guys back. But you can sense some people, you can feel some people like they're just looking to be part of something and they're willing to say anything to be part of it.
Anything.
Yeah, man, I was abducted by aliens last week.
Space Hunt Radio, like there was a girl on there 2 nights ago, bleached blonde hair. She's saying she's got ET DNA, and I'm watching. I'm nice in chat. I don't talk shit about anybody in the chat. But when that was over, I was talking to Connor, like, that was the most full of shit person I ever seen in my life. I go, there's no DNA in that person. That's a little rich girl who got everything given to her in life, and she wants to be weird because she wants to go against her parents. I mean, you can see it. You can see it. But I would never say that in front, especially on somebody else's channel. I'm first class about that kind of stuff. I'll talk behind your back, not in front of you.
I appreciate that level of honesty.
Eric's good. Like, he don't do that. Everybody's sincere. Eric believes everybody. So guy can come on and talk about like being like Sasquatch's private sex slave. You know, for a while. I was a man and I was raped by Sasquatch several times. You know, Eric will believe it. Eric, like, I'll put you on. I want you to tell everything about how you were abused by Bigfoot.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Hey, Bob, we'll put him on. Hey, you tell it. You tell
Come
me.
on,
Let's hear it.
it might be true. We don't know. That man could have been a sex slave for Bigfoots. We don't know. We want to hear them things. Anthropologists, write them down. Now, they did what to you? That's gross.
Yeah, we had some of those people.
Damn, Bigfoot's gross. We like all that information because it could be real. We don't know.
Sorry about that, Amber. I didn't see you below. StreamYard put you below. I didn't know there was a window with you there. So hopefully you're waiting long.
I get to see her because everybody's little swirlies and windows to me. I can't see nobody. I have an electrical anomaly, but she popped in clear. Cool. You're a blind. Nice.
I don't know if I lost signal or what happened a little bit ago.
No.
So she's the only one that you can see, Bob?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You can't see what kind of hat Jeff's wearing?
No. Since I got on here, everyone's has a swirly box.
You can't feel it?
There's an animal on my hat, Bob. I'm gonna think this animal, and I want you to try to figure out what it is. Okay.
You see it now, Bob?
Okay. Yeah, I can see him. Now he just popped in clear. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, now the experiment's ruined.
Well, what is he wearing?
I'm joking, and nobody's coming in except for her. Everyone's on a swirly. It's a swirly little bot. But let me check. Let me get out, Eric, and come back in. So pull me. I'm going to get out for a second.
Well, is Amber's alive, right? I mean,
yeah, you guys are all.
I was say Bob could be saying, "I see dead people," but then he can't see us, but he can see Amber. That's kind of freaking.
I want to see
Amber out a little bit.
Well, Fitz, that would be cool. I mean, we don't want the real Amber to not be alive, but if she was a ghost talking to us on YouTube, dude, we'd be the biggest thing out there.
And she's the only one that Bob can see.
I was just joking, but I told Tim the other day, I said, if I die before you, I said, turn all the lights out in the funeral home and get a Ouija board out and tell everybody I want to talk to him. He was like, stop. I was kidding, though. Maybe.
Amber, actually, how do you feel about Ouija boards? I mean, I've told you in the beginning of the show that I have played with the Ouija board. I admit it, and nothing has ever. Well, no. I lied because Bob and I threw away a Ouija board and it reappeared. But yeah. I mean, I never brought anything playing with the Ouija board. Is it just more of energy, Amber? That it's not the Ouija board itself; it's the energy you're asking this piece of rectangle to do.
I mean, I think it's a tool to communicate with. Intentions, where you're at when you use it. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. I don't think people should just like run out and buy one and try to use it, but I don't think all of them are going to bring out demons.
Do you think they have any physical difference in the board itself, like the cheapo cardboard ones versus the old wooden ones? Do you think there's a difference?
No, because they can manipulate anything. They can turn lights on and off. If they can push up people or scratch people, they can manipulate apps. They can do whatever they want.
Nice. I know some people they bring in crystals because they're like storage energy vessel thingies. They'll do a Ouija board and they'll put crystals everywhere. It's like we're storing the. Actually, supposedly it's supposed to work. It's supposed to work.
I can see that.
Crystals hold a lot of energy.
Yeah, like little battery packs. They're putting like crystal. I know some people are sleeping with big old things of salt in their room now. You ever see those big old salt crystals?
I have one in my room. It doesn't keep the spirits out.
knew it. It's like anybody who's got a paranormal thing or they're into whatever it is, or they're just a guru, whatever, like a new age thing. They have a big ass salt crystal in their room. I'm like, that is weird. Everybody,
we won ours in a Christmas game that we played at a family member's house. I didn't buy it, but we just kind of won it at a.
They're cool though.
Surprise. Yeah, it doesn't keep spirits out though.
Well, they work. They probably work. I mean, it's salt. If you think it's a big ass salt. So if the spirits are afraid of salt or sodium has some kind of magical properties. It's like drinking out of copper. It works.
Yeah, I don't really mess with. I don't have a lot of experience with Ouija boards, but if I really wanted to give it a good shot, I think what I'd do is get really high first, and then I'd take a Ouija board into like a mausoleum, where there's like a couple hundred people just buried in drawers, basically.
Oh, shit.
And just sit in the middle of the floor and say, let's have at it. I mean,
let's do it. That is epic.
Who here wants to talk tonight?
That is
I
epic.
think
You
that
can
would
definitely get
be.
something.
I mean, if you're looking at a high value target, that's kind of the spot you'd probably want to lay it out and go for it, I would think.
I think that was too much for our friend Paranormal New York. She's going to bed. These guys are.
I don't know. I don't know where I saw the video at, but I watched a video. It could have been on someone's channel, or I don't know where I watched it at. But they did an experiment with a Ouija board, and they had these people, using it, and it was spelling out words. Well, they blindfolded the people and had them do the same thing, and none of it made sense. So I don't know. Like the letters did not even make words. So when they were blindfolded.
Well, you guys,
she's just exhausted. She's not tired of us.
Yeah.
You guys might be familiar with the video I'm going to mention, but one time when I was researching different Sasquatch vocalizations that have been caught on audio, I was listening to different ones that people claim to be true, and then you research them and find out some were shown to be hoaxes, either by confession or by audio analysis and stuff. But while I was researching this, there's a recording of a guy. It's a video, and he walks into a mausoleum in the middle of the day, and he's got it recorded, all these voices. Like there's one voice screaming at him, like a young voice. And he's saying, "Are you okay?" And they're like, "No." And he says, "Do you need help?" And the voice is like, "Yes, I need help." So he walks out, comes back in later in the evening, and there's like a bunch of voices, and they're just screaming away. And he's got this all on video. And I was just like, man, if this thing is hoaxed, this is fucked up, because it looked pretty damn real. But
I mean, whether it's Bigfoot or spirits, or UFOs or whatever it might be, there's always no matter what kind of evidence we have, there's always going to be people that are like, "You're a fake. You're not doing the right thing." There's always going to be that.
Oh yeah, I mean, honestly, right now people argue whether or not Bigfoot's real or not. If you get to a point where you definitively show, whether it's through establishing a DNA catalog with the right analysis or whatever, even if you found a body, somebody hauls a body into town, it's going to open up where you got 100 things to argue about now, as far as where could they exist and where can't they exist, and how many are here and how many are there. And I mean, this whole community is going to find 100 things to argue about, not the one or two that we do now.
Especially the people that say you're a hoax. They're going to say it's a hoax too.
Earlier, tell them again how long have we known about gorillas? It's like
70 years.
Exactly, we're like a little. Okay, so we're talking about a creature that's been around for a long time. It's been living and hiding. It's intelligent, obviously. We just found the gorillas, man. How are we going to find those guys? And gorillas are not that hard to find up in the mountains in Africa.
Well, I think, even though when we talk about, aquatic species, it's a little bit more of an unknown, just because we don't have the ability to explore it as easily as we do open areas. But probably the most modern day example of that is the giant squid. One of my research partners, Doug Hychek, scientists had talked about the giant squid. They found these gelatinized masses washed up on shore and said, "God, they look kind of like squids. They're huge, but it's too big. It can't be, yada, yada." And then he goes out and gets video footage and is the first one to ever video a giant squid alive, and kind of flipped science on its ear a little bit. They're like, holy shit, they are real, you know. It now all of a sudden the question is, where can they be and where can't they be, and what depth are they capable of and what aren't they capable of? And you know, I mean, it wasn't whether or not they're real was the one question there was before. Now there's 100 questions about them that just definitively showing that something's real opens up 100 doors, you know.
Too many doors. Sometimes.
Well, and you've seen that, Bob, in archaeology.
Yeah.
I mean, when they discover something fossilized, and it's one of the first examples that they've seen of it.
Yeah.
It's not. Oh, we suspected there was something like this.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, it's like a million questions about it.
Yeah. I was in East Timor, in anthropology, archaeology, East Timor, Indonesia. And we're doing a dig on a mountainside. And so we're just looking, bones. We're looking at bones. So bones, we're doing the old shaking. We got the basket. We're doing, you know, all of a sudden there's a lot of whispering going around our little group. And there's a lot of whispering, and we're all, what's going on? What's going on? We found something. Okay. We found what? We found something, and we need to like not let the locals see what we're doing, because this is huge. It's like, what the fuck did we find? So we're trying to act like and keep business going as usual, because whatever it is, these two other guys are just secretly getting it out of the ground, and everyone's eyes are on us, just looking for bones. Okay, it looks like could be something, and put it in a little baggie. To get away, we found dice made of like bone or whatever, carved dice. Now, dice in one of these islands out in the middle of nowhere, dice means gambling. And the dice have only come from the Chinese. So that means where we were at, the Chinese traders had made it all the way there. And if they had dice, that means they were just gambling with themselves, the sailors, Chinese sailors. So this particular place didn't want to be known as been settled by Chinese. They've got their own identity and stuff. We're like, oh, shit.
Were they like traditional 6-sided dice?
Just 2 dice. We found 2 dice.
But they were cubed.
Traditional, like kind of like me and Ed's pizza kind of thing. It was 3 or one dot and a nothing, then a 2 dot, and then like a 1 dot. I can't remember. It's like 13 kind of a thing.
But so it wasn't like 26-sided Dungeons and Dragons dice, or anything.
Oh no, no! This is dominoes, not dice. Dominoes. There were more dominoes. Dominoes.
Okay.
Let me say that right. I'm stupid. Good call on the dice thing. There were dominoes. So the Chinese had dominoes in their game tradition, but nobody down there had dominoes. Everybody's had a form of dice, you know, the card, but dominoes. So the whole place was up in roar, and we're like trying to keep it quiet. But again, with things you find in other areas, you would never, ever, ever, ever think they'd be there. Ever is unusual. You know, the world's migration is insane. But yeah, gambling. They were gambling there. It was insane. Gambling.
Look at this. In 2021, talk about new species. According to this, in 2021, they found new types of copepods. Snow is glowing in Russia. Metallic beetles. Nicopoda simonadui. Rice well.
Oh, penguin.
Yellow king penguin. Yellow lobsters. Fleshy, verdigris, lichen, cara, whatever, black brow babbler. So there's new species all the time that they're discovering.
Every time. Oh, God, yeah. Oh, yeah, especially now. We just found that fox bat. Remember that big old fox bat in China? Or was it Vietnam? I can't remember. Big old monster, huge bat. And then it turns out that the locals were eating it the whole time. We're like, what the hell did this fox bat come into existence? What the hell? They just found it.
Yeah, here's like right here. This is snow is glowing in Russia Arctic. Tiny bioluminescent animals called copepods. Recently, it's up to snow near a remote fuel station by the White Sea in the first documented sighting of its kind.
Ah. What are they calling it? They're just guessing.
They're calling it new types of copepods.
A growing growing or a glowing snow?
Yeah, up
You know
the
they say don't eat the yellow snow. Well, I would not eat that snow.
metallic beetles. Well, I'm just saying, look, that's supposed to be the armor
I
bush.
mean, if you ate it, it might give you magical powers. So
rice well. That looks like off that movie, Stormtroopers, those little creatures.
It's a sacred feminine symbol. Wait, go back up. I'm gonna take a look at this thing again. Is it a triangle? Oh, it is. Wow.
It's a rice well.
Okay. Ironic.
Yellow king penguin. What's a yellow king penguin? Is there a picture? No. Yellow lobster. Oh, come on. Can you give me a picture? Oh. Oh, well.
So
Yeah.
back when you were talking about dinosaurs and stuff, what if there really were no dinosaurs? What if they're all dragons and wyverns and they're just
They
showing
were.
us what they want to show us?
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
they
I
were.
don't believe the actual dinosaur, just what they say. I don't buy into that. I never have.
Well, remember, they used to be called dragon, and then we changed them to dinosaur. We actually gave them a name. It's
Well, I think they're kind of hiding what the rest of the pieces to them too. You know what I mean?
yeah. Because I worked
This
with
whole-
Smithsonian, and we had dinosaur bones. We had a lot of dinosaur bones, and I'm like, they're all just they're like dragons. I used to call them dragons, like big ass dragons. That's what they were called for thousands and thousands of years. They were called dragons, and then we just started calling them dinosaur.
Hey,
Yeah, I don't think what they call dinosaurs is the truth.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Amber, let me ask you this. I think I asked this question before with Nicole from Through the Veil Paranormal. Do you actually ever one-on-one with the ghost, like having a conversation, trying to find out what's going on after you die? Do you ever like investigate that yourself with them? Like, let's have a sit down. Here's your coffee, ghost. Here's my coffee. Let's talk about what goes on.
The big question. Eric's like, did you ask the big question?
You ever had those kind of conversations? I mean, if I could, I would. Well, I'll take that chance.
I think our endings are different for all of us. A lot of what we believe, because if we believe something, we manifest that. So our endings are going to be a little bit different, but there's still, I don't know how to describe it. I mean, you can still go to the light and choose to move on. You go over what you learned, that kind of stuff. But people's endings are, I think, going to be a little different.
Have you ever talked to one where it went to the light, but it came back from the light by any chance?
I mean, yeah, they can do that if they want. If they want
they can do that.
Come back. Just because, I can see them or they're here does not mean they're trapped. There are some that kind of like, and I wouldn't even say trapped, that just don't understand or know how to get to where they need to go.
I
don't know. That's kind of one thing that I get confused about too still, because there's a lot that come to me wanting help, and I help them, and there's some that just come and go as they please. So that's kind of one of those things I don't
I always
understand.
wondered this. All of us here on this panel, I'm almost 100% sure we all believe in Bigfoot, all of us. Yeah. And I think, Bigfoot are more intelligent than we are because they're smarter. They know. But I'm always wondering, we know that, say they are there. Like, they're like automatically all mediums versus us because they're more superior than us. I'm always wondering,
I still think they're marsupial. People think I'm crazy. I think they're marsupial. I think they've got a pouch, and the females carry their babies on their belly.
Well, I think that their knowledge is derived like any living being from its life experience. So is Bigfoot better at doing a crossword puzzle than I am? Probably not. Okay. But is it better at being elusive and quiet and all of that? I mean, it spends 24 hours a day, 365 days a year for decade after decade of its life doing nothing but existing in the forest, feeding itself, taking care of clan members or family members, and being elusive. and they get really good at it. People will say, I don't know how a 1,000-pound thing could move from A to B and I didn't hear it. Well, I don't know that there's some portal or there's some paranormal explanation of that. It could be that it does it so damn much that it's just that freaking good at it. I mean, if you lived out there every day of your life and your number one goal is do not be seen or be elusive,
be good at it.
I don't care how clumsy you are, you're going to get really good at moving from A to B without snapping twigs and making noise. I mean, that's all it does. So, you know, as far as it being superior in the way that it processes information or things like that, I mean, I think that that's all just derived on what it needs in its toolbox to survive and be really elusive and be good at what it does. I don't think it's possible for me to get better than it is at that, because I'm only in the field, let's say 50 or 100 days a year for 8 hours at a time and a few hunting trips for 6-7 days a week. I still sleep in a bed. I still use a microwave. I still go to the convenience store and buy beer. I mean, you know, it's not the same. We don't exist on that same plane of who's better in the outdoors.
Yeah.
You can't get that good when you aren't out there your whole life.
You mean a Bigfoot's not going to a grocery store and buying a can of Mickey's?
No, he's going to buy beef jerky.
Beef jerky.
Claims that they've been caught
Jack Links.
on surveillance cameras at stores, but yeah.
Guys, I want to give a shout out to Brenda, the paracryptid. She's in the chat right now. I've got her shirt on. Well, right here. But she does paranormal and Bigfoot as well. You know, so there's definitely
bring her in.
A lot of people.
Bring her in.
Does she want to fun with us?
Eric has a very important question for her that I thought he was going to ask here a moment ago when he was asking about the communication part with ghosts. Is it possible you can sext with a ghost? I thought that's what he was wanting to ask, but then he didn't have the guts to ask.
I'm wondering that myself. Aren't they called succubuses?
Succubus. Yeah.
Who has not made out with
stories about it?
Well,
made out with many ghosts.
Well, in simple terms, can a ghost be horny for the opposite sex or the same sex?
Oh, a gay ghost.
Well, let's broaden that question.
Yes, Jeff, can you and I make sure we include in our language when we speak that a ghost of this preference and this preference and this we've got to be PC with the ghost.
I would just broaden the question to a point to where it's not horniness, it's feelings. Okay, now obviously we have heard experiences of them being pissed or upset or angry about something, or they're distraught about something and they can't get past that, right?
Yeah.
I have, like, my only experience was I heard a grandmother who seemed to find joy in something. Okay. Yeah. So obviously they can experience emotion.
Oh man.
But where do you think that parameter lies as far as what they're capable of feeling or not feeling? You know, can they feel? They can feel emotional pain, obviously, but could they feel a physical pain of some sort? You know, or things like that. That's probably a harder question to approach as far as. I mean, you'd assume if they could feel one feeling, like being distraught, then they can feel all feelings.
So what Jeff is trying to say is, in a beautiful, well-said format, there is gay ghosts.
Well, a ghost.
Perfect way. Could you imagine being haunted by a gay ghost? That'd be horrible. Wait, an incubus and a succubus. So the incubus, succubus is on the male, the female ghost, and then the incubus is on the male. Yeah. Oh no, female on the female. So that's the male. Incubus is a male devil spirit, and a succubus is a female. Imagine if they were gay, and you wake up and you're a guy with an incubus on you. Oh.
But I wonder if sex doesn't matter in the afterlife, like a male or female. They're a binary.
Yeah, they're non-binary. I think they'd be non-binary. Or where's it on the thing? LGBT thing. It's LGBT. They'd be way over here. The non-binary ghost.
You know, Amber, about 2 years ago, Bob and I took my daughter and all her friends to a haunted thing for Halloween. We do a haunted farm, and my daughter goes to me, and Bob's like, "Hey, don't call her her. She's a binary." And I never really heard that word before. I'm like, "What's a binary?" That's
We had to be briefed
or something. And I didn't know people wanted to be called binary. So we learned that like 2 years ago.
I just generally call them all little snot noses. I had one word. There's the binary word. Like, I don't care what you're what? I'm not a female. I'm a okay. I don't care. What are you, a scorpion? Hello. Oh, she's on.
I didn't think you were gonna come on.
I figured I'd pop on for the
Brenda, I love the shirt. Nicole, she's awesome too.
I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you like it.
It's so comfy, but I love the little logo. It's backwards on my phone, but I don't know if you guys can see it. So I love it.
So Brenda, I don't know if you've been hearing us with our crazy ideas or not, but can a ghost have feelings for the living, like want to touch you in certain places?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, the experiences I've had with ghosts. I've been touched on the legs. I've been booted in the butt. I've been strangled, and I've heard all kinds of different stories about ghosts can still have feelings. But I've also heard stories that ghosts that the longer that they have passed, they start forgetting stuff and forgetting who they were, and I just don't know how true all that is.
No, I believe you.
Because you still have people that linger. You still have people linger around, like their loved ones. So, like I said again, I don't know how true it is.
No,
Brenda had a ghost behind her.
That's interesting, Brenda. We didn't really talk about that part where. So you're saying that some ghosts, longer they're on this earth, they're in our realm, that they start losing kind of like themselves. They're kind of like Alzheimer's in a way, I guess you could say.
I mean, that's what I'm hearing. I don't know. Again, I don't know how true it is. I mean, any paranormal investigator can, pretty much place their opinion about stuff. But and the little short bit of time that we have been doing our ghost hunting, I've heard so many different stories about stuff like that.
Yes,
that was Nicole.
Loud, you didn't see me. That was Nicole behind you. I saw her, but I didn't think that was Nicole. You two are like best friends. Whoa!
Wow.
Listen,
I'm teaching her all about Bigfoot too.
Well, Brenda, see, we haven't taken about Bigfoot because Nicole's on our show one time. We did an interview with her, and Bob and I just had a brother who passed away. Actually, a brother who became a sister.
Transitioning. That's why we're asking about gay ghosts.
Transitioning. And Nicole's on the show saying, "Who's that person next to you?" And she was describing exactly what my brother or sister, whatever you want to call. It's hard, it's a weird thing, but because he was in the middle of transition, he wasn't fully a female, but actually on his license, he changed himself to a female.
Yeah, he'd be a confusing ghost.
But Nicole saw that person right next to us, and she just passed away recently. It was like, wow, she didn't know. Nicole didn't know that we had a brother sister just passed away.
Yeah, and that's why Eric and I are advocates of homosexual ghosts. We're not against them at all. We always want to include them in our categories because we, in fact, do have a transitioning brother that did die in transition. So technically, he's like a bisexual gay ghost. Yeah. So we want to include them into
the. I was confused because I seen a woman.
Or was it a man?
Yeah.
A man in garb.
Well, you've heard that saying that you've heard that saying that ghosts, like, if they're mean before they pass away, they're mean in the afterlife too. I believe that. I really truly believe that because it seems like
Absolutely.
whenever they pass away, they get even meaner. They become like a negative spirit, I guess, or hell, it may be even demonic. Who knows?
Yeah.
And
So-
see, I think that goes for ones that are like really perverted in life, or a womanizer, or people that are rapists in life. That may be where you get your incubus and succubus from as well. I don't know that, for sure on that, but if somebody is like that in life, like a peeping Tom type person, they're going to be peeping through your windows in death. Like they're going to be still doing the same thing.
So Amber, what you're saying is we
Yep.
can't let Bob die. We got to make
No.
sure Bob stays alive, or a lot of people are screwed.
I don't want to die because I'll end up seeing my brother in his afterlife. It'll be a bunch of drag queens. And I'll be like, okay, so here's the afterworld.
I'll be right back.
Drag queens, a bunch of drag queens, my brother. It'd be kind of weird place to be. I mean, they're nice people. They're generally good people. They're nice. But drag queen spirits would be weird. So I'm not looking forward to seeing my brother in afterlife. It's going to be fun.
People chat. You guys all know we're just joking, having fun.
We're joking.
Don't take anything seriously, guys. We're probably gonna have a hit list on us now.
Your ghosts are mean and scary. They're not drag queens whatsoever. So do not think that.
Do not hold the show to any level of political correctness.
Yes. Ghosts are just ghosts. We'll leave them at that. They're free. They can be what they want. Whatever it is. We can't give them labels. There'll be an anti-ghost group over here on our show mad at us.
So Brenda, are you by any chance, are you just a paranormal investigator, or are you a medium also yourself, or what's your background?
I feel their feelings. I can feel their feelings, and I can. What's a good way to put this? I'm not an empath. Is the best way to put it. Yeah, because I can feel their feelings, and I can. I get glimpses of like they play like movies in my head. In other words, I see like little things here and there, and I'll tell you what I see, and normally that's what the ghosts are trying to tell me.
Wow.
Isn't it almost like when Native Americans say?
But my passion, to be honest with you.
Would that be called visions?
I didn't hear that. What did you say?
Would that be like when Native Americans, they talk about having visions? Is that like almost like what you're having, like a vision?
A premonition.
Yeah, I can right. I can close my eyes and get a glimpse of what a spirit is trying to tell me, and I will tell you what I see. I can read humans from time to time. I'm sensitive to ghosts. I don't like touching haunted. I don't like to touch haunted stuff because I feel the feelings from it. Sometimes it's enough to scare me. Stuff like that.
Yeah, animism.
My passion is definitely Bigfoot.
Animism. In Japan and all over Asia, their ghosts can haunt objects, and so I'm a big believer in objects being haunted. Especially the jinn. They like things with corners and peaks and corners. That's why magical symbols have so much power. These spirits like corners. It's weird. They like corners.
Well, let's talk about that second. Objects, right? One of the famous things about Ed and Lorraine Warren is that almost every investigation they go on, they would take a piece of something that was meant for that investigation, whatever it is. In their own house, they had like a little museum
collection
of all the things they have received from investigations.
Annabelle.
I don't know if you guys remember this. Back in the 80s or 90s, there was a TV show. Friday the 13th made a TV show.
Yeah.
The idea of this Friday the 13th TV show wasn't about Jason Voorhees. It was actually about they had all these haunted items. And when they sold, and somebody died, and the grandkids took over, and they sold all these haunted items.
Like a whole crest.
They had to go out and get all these haunting items back because they were killing people.
Like a whole crest.
Yeah. And it was a great show. I don't know. I wish it never got canceled. But beyond that, Brenda, have you seen like haunted items that maybe killed somebody or scared the hell out of them or hurt them?
I've seen 2 haunted items, but they're not really scary to other people, but I'm scared of them because I know if they're placed in hands what I'll see, and I don't want to be able to see it, if that makes sense. I just don't do haunted items. I don't.
Yeah, cursed items.
Nicole has a haunted dog, which she calls William. I refuse to touch. She has a haunted teddy bear that I refuse to touch.
Oh.
And she's been trying to come around me to Brenda, just hold him. Just hold him. No, I don't want to hold him. Please don't make me type deal. As I know what's going to come with it. When you put something haunted in my hands, I'm going to be able to feel it. I'm going to be able to tell you what it is. I just don't want to.
Well, Eric and I, we've been playing
that teddy bear. Like if I
we've been playing around with the Mandela effect phenomenon, and oddly enough, a lot of movies have teddy bears have showed up. They've never been there before. There's like there's a couple of bands that had some. I'm trying to think of the name of the band, but Simple Minds. Don't you forget? Yeah, Simple Minds has a video, and for me, teddy bears kept popping up in the video. I'm like, I don't remember no teddy bear in this movie. I don't remember Eric Twister. Remember Twister?
Well, we did a show about that, and we showed everybody all these footages, all these teddy bears that look the same, just appearing in movies.
Movies.
I think we're crazy.
Yeah.
But there's a scene in Twister where the big truck drives right into a house that was floating because of a twister, and the truck goes right out of the house. All of a sudden, a teddy bear goes across the windshield, making this noise. And it's like, that teddy bear was never there before.
We've seen that movie hundreds. I have friends that watch that movie hundreds of times. It's a cult classic. I go, you remember this part? And all of a sudden they go through the house, and then a bear just blatantly in the camera hits the screen and makes a and they look. They go, I don't remember no teddy bear in this movie. What? Yeah.
Now everybody thinks we're off our rockers.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're adding to your haunted teddy bear story. We're big supporters of that theory.
Here we go. Hold on. I'm going to share the screen for a second. I'm going to show people what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
There's a scene right here. Okay.
Show them the evidence.
That's the house, right?
Show them the evidence.
Here, let me slow motion this. There's a twister. The car goes through this house. And let's turn the sound up. Watch. See that teddy bear?
Oh, it does, don't it?
Go back. Let's go back.
Now, how many times do you guys watch this movie? We thought that was cool.
Well, the thing is about seeing this teddy bear, the noise it makes, like, where did that noise come from?
Yeah. Yeah. So there's our haunted teddy bear.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But tell me you guys remember a teddy bear flying across the truck in that movie.
I don't.
No.
I remember it.
I mean, there's theories that the Mandela effect is like going in and out of different realities, but also, I mean, you have to think it could be just the higher ups in the world just trying to mess with our heads too. You know what I mean? They can alter and change whatever they want at any time.
Yeah. Hawking's theory. You go contacting something and you find it, it's going to come back. So basically, as Jeff was talking about earlier, we were joking about if you invite a spirit in, if it's invited, it'll be here. So if there was some sort of, like you talking about another dimensional, whatever bad Cthulhu monster thing is changing matter, we've invited it in.
Well, there's something to be said too for that peripheral awareness that awakens when you become attuned to something. You go buy a white Toyota Tacoma truck and you start realizing how many damn white Tacoma trucks there are. It's like, I never noticed there was that many before. I never saw them before. Now I buy one. Everybody's got one. You just became more aware of it, you know?
Yeah.
And I wonder if there isn't something to the teddy bear thing. I mean, you could have watched the movie 100 times. It was such an insignificant part. And all of a sudden you become tuned into that and you're like, holy shit, there's a teddy bear there.
Correct. Correct. 100%.
And then we're watching Poltergeist, and there's a teddy bear going across the floor. I'm like, where's that? And that teddy bear was huge. Like, where's that teddy bear come from?
I don't remember that teddy bear going across the floor. The camera's right on the teddy bear. And I go, what's up with the cameras on?
You guys want to hear something weird, kind of Mandela effect paranormal with the movie Poltergeist?
Oh.
In the movie, in the kid's room, on his wall, there's a color picture of a football team that actually the color of that team wins the Super Bowl the year that's on that wall, which was technically in the future. I was watching the Redskins. Rewatch the movie. The kid, right before the kid gets eaten up by that tree, there's like a future picture of a football team that actually wins the Super Bowl on that year that's on that wall that's in the future.
Wow.
Now, if you're making a movie, how do they know this team with the exact same color is going to win a Super Bowl in 2-3 years? Why would they have a team up there with the Super Bowl and a future year in a Poltergeist that's 2 years, 3 years out?
Weird.
Well, okay. Do you want to hear my opinion on it?
Yeah.
And I may get some hate for this. I've always thought that they always know who's going to win the Super Bowl, because look at these players that do amazing and run, so many yards in games, and then the next week they can't catch a ball for nothing and they lose their place.
Oh,
I think they're all paid off ahead of time.
I'm sorry. I'm racist. I said Redskins. I'm sorry. I forgot. The team's not called Redskins no more. I'm bad. I apologize. They're called, what do they call that? Washington something?
The Washington Football Club. And actually next year, they're supposed to announce at the end of 2022 what they're going to rename the team in 2023, because Washington Football Club was a temporary name they were going to use for 2 years. And so now everybody's trying to predict, what are they going to call this? And today, I just saw it on a headline today. Did the Washington Football Club just reveal in this interview the hint of what they're going to be calling their team? And I didn't watch it, but evidently they gave some hint in this interview of what they're going to be called. But I don't know if it's something that everybody's just being unrealistically predictable about, or if there really was a good hint. I don't know. But
that's weird. Yeah, I remember them. Redskins, they're just trying to get rid of history again. People are getting it wrong. It's the opposite. I'm a historian. I know about some weird alternative past things. And when they think of Redskins, they're associating with the indigenous peoples. They're not. It's not Redskins. The Redskins, if you guys look at your early Egyptian whatever pictures and all the way through antiquity, they're reddish. They're colored in a red color because they use this type of ochre rock. It's like a red dye rock, and they rub it on their skin for skin protection. So if you're an indigenous person from the northern Americas and you're very, very white and you're down in the Mediterranean running around in boats, and especially down in Egypt, you're going to color your skin with that redness so it don't burn.
Well, I just think that there's a bit of a double standard that exists. And I say that growing up in South Dakota, where there's a huge, large Native American presence here. But, we can't say Redskins, but yet if we were to talk about nationalities and cultures, I could make a statement like, I don't care if you're white, black, brown, red, or yellow, you're all the same in the eyes of myself. I look at you the same. Nobody would think that's being disrespectful.
Yeah.
Although I just referred to their skin as red, or an Asian person's skin is yellow. That's not perceived as disrespectful, but yet you put a headdress on a helmet of feathers and call yourself the Redskins, and it's very disrespectful. One of the colleges up to the north of us here in North Dakota is the North Dakota Fighting Sioux. And huge hockey team. They win the national championship every 4 or 5 years or so. And they've done real well in college sports lately. Well, 2 years ago, they were told you can't be the Fighting Sioux anymore. So now they're the North Dakota nothing pretty much. But But yet the Notre Dame Fighting Irish are still the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And Irish people aren't getting pissed off in droves about it. They're like, yeah, we fight. Who cares? You know?
Yeah.
And so it gets a little bit cloudy as far as where do these parameters of political correctness rest, you know?
Well, I was trying to tell people the Redskins actually are the ones that made the name up. It's not the white people. The Redskins, because the Redskins called the Viking. Now the Viking, there's evidence to show that they'd cover themselves also in that red because they didn't want to get sunburned. So if you were a Native American and a bunch of guys showed up in a boat with bright red skin, I'd call them Redskins, but they're actually Vikings. They come all the way across from Scandinavia to the Americas, where you've got, like, they call it the tomahawk, which is actually technology used in Scandinavian times. You know, the axe. They brought it over there and they gave it the technology. They picked it up. They call it a tomahawk. It's actually a fighting axe from Scandinavia. So the Vikings came over with bright red skin. They were colored themselves because of the sun. And so the natives called them Redskins. And so somehow I got twisted around opposite. Everyone's like, the natives are the Redskins. No, they're the ones who named them Redskins, which are technically white guys. So it's kind of the opposite. So they're removing those kind of sayings, in my opinion, so you don't learn that. You don't learn where it actually comes from.
Well, I'm not culturally blind to the fact that there are just certain derogatory names that you shouldn't call each other. But I don't get where we start stretching those lines out so far that such a small percentage of people who will choose to get offended by anything. I mean, if you say, okay, I won't say that anymore, they're going to the grocery store tomorrow, they're offended by something new. I mean, some people are just like that. I don't mean that to sound like I'm culturally blind to understand that there are certain names you just don't use, right? But at what point do we say, you know, when you call an Irish guy a Mick, or when you call, you know, I mean, I don't think people really get too offended by some of these cultural references, but there's always going to be a small percentage of a population in any dialect of people who are going to get up in arms about. I mean, one of the local football teams here in our high schools in our area was the Washington Warriors, and they had a big headdress on their helmets, and they took a lot of heat over this, and they were going to change the name. But then all the Native American kids that go to school there are like, dude, why are we changing the name? We love this name, right? I mean, seriously. Well, if the students that are Native American aren't offended about it, who is? Who is at that point, really? Yeah. So, you know, it's just such a cloudy line we draw in the sand as far as what offends one guy and doesn't offend the next, you know.
Linguist police, like, again, Mick. People, there's another one that was stolen and put in the wrong context because Mick. So you were like a McDaniel or a Mick this or a Mick that. You got to break down the words to Gaelic back to its original language. Mick, okay, so you have the surname of the family, and then you have Mick. It's like family of. So if I were to come up and it was another person from Scotland, whatever, and I'm seeing him in a field and I'm in a new land, I'd call him a Mick, which means my family. It is not derogatory.
Yeah.
So they make you think it's derogatory, then they remove it. It's called derogatory. Why am I calling him family in Gaelic bad? They're like, no, you can't say Mick. Why? Because it's derogatory. For who? For the non-Gaelic speaking people? I don't know. Yeah. So a lot of these are lies. They're just like they're reversing you to, like, I used to not like. There's a word I don't want to use, the N word. I don't want to use that word because of family friendly. But that N word used to have an ED at it, so it's blankard, which means to stagger drunk. And so when the Irish got to the States, when the Irish were there, they'd be drunk and falling down, and they were called the N word, but with the ED at the end of it. That's where that was started. So it was the Irish that were called the N word originally in the history, and then that word got reversed over to other ethnicities because ignorant people call it. So names like the swastika has always been in all the Middle Eastern symbols. They've been all the way back to Asia. It's an old symbol of the sun. And so it was commandeered by good old-fashioned Hitler and then put into a horrible, you can't, swastika, you cannot be associated with it, when actually it's an old, very old symbol that it's been demonized. I ain't gonna say I love that, because even I'm scared of it now. So they've done a great job. The Nazis, damn them. So a lot of our language has been demonized on purpose. It's freaking weird.
Well, and everybody controls the way they react to something.
Yeah.
I mean, that's up to you. I mean, Bob, I could call you an idiot and you could laugh and say, no, you're an idiot. Or I could call you an idiot and you could just start swinging at me because I've offended you so badly. I mean,
Yeah, language is weird, man. It causes wars. Language causes wars. I think even the F word was actually something not bad at first, and then it became bad. Like,
Well, if you want to learn about that
unlawful
language,
carnal knowledge.
Nicolas Cage, you got a show on not Nickelodeon, on Netflix about swear words.
He's got a swear words.
He's got a swear word TV show, and he gives the history of every swear word on a show.
Like this.
Well, and I think that, like you said, Bob, the F word it was an acronym for unlawful carnal knowledge. And when somebody would be imprisoned for that, the guards would say, well, what's that person there for? And they'd say, oh, they're a fuck case.
Yeah.
Meaning that's why they were here. That's literally how that word
in the
was
shackles.
derived.
They had their heads in a shackle.
Brown dwarf.
It's like saying, what's that person there? Well, they're here for a DUI. Well, all of a sudden, does DUI somehow get to be a derogatory?
Dewey. The Dewey.
Well, let's test this, because Brown Dwarf says he doesn't get offended. So, Matt, if you want to call him out and want to call my name, see if he gets offended.
I've called Brown every name in the book, and he hasn't gotten offended yet.
Come on, Amber, call Brown Dwarf a name. See if he gets offended.
I'm used to getting called names. I didn't know I had a name growing up. It was always something else.
Amber and Brenda's going to leave the show like, Eric got people mad at us. He told us to come here.
No, we're only
it boils down to kindness, and if you want to be kind to people, and how easily or how much you think you're entitled to certain things. There are certain things that need to change, but also things shouldn't change because people feel entitled.
No, I think what needs to change is people's intentions. I mean, if I have the intention for wanting to hurt somebody's feelings or be hurtful, really doesn't matter what words I'm going to use to do that or accomplish that. It's the intention that I had to want to do that. That's really the sin we're talking about here. It doesn't have a whole lot to do with the words that I use to accomplish it. It's the intent.
Yeah.
And so what we're trying to change is all these little words and, colors and dots and dashes and things. It's really it's the heart and it's the intention that needs to change with people. It's not necessarily the verbiage. But
yeah, and that's why when Eric and I go ghost hunting, we're very clear. We understand you might be a homosexual ghost, and we have nothing but respect for you, thanks to my brother, which is also a transitioning ghost for those of you out there in this netherworld. So we have let's get that off the table. Yeah. We are not in that. If you are, in fact, a gay ghost, you do not need to let us know. It's your right to keep it quiet. We have given the whole disclaimer before we go ghost hunting, so we don't want to offend.
Bob's not totally wrong, because when we do go investigations, I always tell the ghost, if you want to hurt one of us, hurt him.
Yes, that's fine. And then I will go to the disclaimer. I am not offended by your preference in the ghost world. We're simply here to communicate. Let's remove all the other stigmas out of the way.
Actually, Amber, have you ever really got hurt by a spirit, like actually physically did some damage on you, scratching or something? Did you ever get hurt, bruised, or anything?
I did get some marks on me on the airplane. It looked like somebody had taken their fingers and just kind of pressed into my, I don't know, I have pictures of it. But
on an airplane?
Yes.
Of all places.
What'd you say?
No, of all places to get hurt on an airplane.
The plane was loaded with spirits. loaded.
Is there? Did you investigate on why there were spirits on this plane by any chance?
I mean, some followed me home. No, I have a couple of videos on TikTok of it.
Wow.
I have a video on YouTube as well that has a lot of clips of it.
What about you, Brenda? Have you ever got physically hurt on an investigation?
Not physically hurt. I've been booted in the butt on an investigation, and I woke on a Saturday morning getting strangled by a ghost in my house. And I also got shot here recently. I got slapped when I was taking a nap. So, yeah.
Oh, I guess that's a big yes.
I'm not joking around. Now, did you think there was a reason why you got slapped? Were you mean at somebody and the ghost took it like you were yelling at him or her?
No, it has nothing. It's there's something that back bedroom in this house is, I don't know what it is about that bedroom, but that closet always stays really cold. And like our youngest child, that she's a little girl, she keeps saying that she keeps seeing stuff right there at that closet or in the closet.
Yeah.
And we haven't did an investigation of that closet yet to find out what's going on. But I'm not the only one that got slapped in that room. Nicole got slapped in that room too.
Yeah, they like square it. Like people say, there's no ghosts in closets and no other dimensions. And well, let's back up here in antiquity. If you ever go down to South America and you see these large rock structures, and there's like this square closet size space in the side of a rock, I go, why would they make that? Why would they just put a square in the side of a rock thing? It doesn't go anywhere and it stops. I go, well, that's like a closet, like you described, it's square space, because these things like corners. They like corners. They come through corners. I know it sounds weird. That's why when you smudge a house, if you guys remember smudging, the smudger always goes to the corners. Always, they go to the house corners. They don't go in. They go in the living room a little bit, but they're hitting the damn corners. So again, with your closet, yeah, you got to watch out for them boxes, man. And anything with corners, I smudge that freaking room like a motherfucker. I'd burn half a bush of sage in there and weed.
Well, Matt, what about you, Matt? Have you ever feel you got hurt or physical scratches from a ghost?
No comment.
That's a yes.
No comment.
We probably had a succubus on him.
You know,
Matt, the politically correct answer, Matt, is I'll tell you on my channel.
He had a succubus.
How about you, Jeff? What about you, Jeff? You ever got hurt?
Not by a ghost, no.
Oh.
Now, Bob, in the UK, you mentioned that one time when we did a show that you woke up and you felt scratches on your leg.
All the time. I was freaking on the show all the freaking time. They were going for my left leg. They kept going for the left leg. And it'd be three scratches, 3 long scratches. And I'd wake up and of course I'd check my tone. Let's go to the Jeff stage. Everyone knows we do science first. Oh yes. You could do that with your toenails. That's 100% of the time, if not all the time. I check my toenails. Everything's clipped. I looked on the floor for any tack that might have fell, or I looked on anything and everything. I was trying to debunk it. Nothing, man. I couldn't find it. And then I wake up. 3 more scratches. What the hell? Looks like 3 fingernails ran down my leg.
That reminds me of probably my favorite episode of Josh Gates' Destination Truth, when he investigated the Romanian forest terrors. And if you've never seen that episode, you got to go and see it. One of the people on his team it was at night, sat in a chair in this clearing in this forest where they were experiencing this stuff. And they ran 2 cameras on him from a distance, and they backed up and they were watching him from a long ways away, right? And they're talking to him through a microphone and saying, do you feel anything? He says, yeah, I can tell that there's something right here, right now. And he's like, this guy's trying to talk to it. And this dude gets blasted out of this chair. I mean, he goes flying, the chair goes flying. He's freaking out. The whole team's running across the field to him. And his arms and chest and stuff are covered in scratches. I mean, it looks like something just clawed the shit out of this guy. Now, I understand some of these shows, they Hollywoodize a little bit, but dude, there's no way that just freaked me out. The way it shows him getting blasted out of this chair and covered in these scratches.
Animal spirits, man.
Do you remember how many scratches? Was it like the 3? Because I'm hearing the number 3 now a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch it again. I actually got to talk to Josh Gates once, and I told him, I said, probably my favorite episode was this Romanian forester. He says, dude, by far, that is the one that everybody found the most intriguing. He says, and if I had to go back and pick one that I didn't want to be there in real life, that's the one I wish I never would have been there.
Wow.
He said, it freaked me out.
I have Discovery Plus, so I have all those episodes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Well, here's a question for y'all.
Yeah.
I got a question. Okay. For all you Sasquatch hunters that are up here, do you believe that Sasquatch have spirits too?
Oh, shit. That's a good
Well, I've said in the past that I believe that Sasquatch could be mediums just like anybody else. They're closer to humans than we think. And I think they can have spirits.
Well, yeah, ghosts. Yeah, ghost Sasquatch. Yeah. You know, yeah.
I don't see why not. I mean, you know, we talked to Amber about animals earlier in the show about have she seen like animals? She says she's seen animals. So why can't animals? And Bigfoot's more intelligent than an average animal. Let's be honest. You know, they're dolphins. They're smart, intelligent people.
Well, yeah, they aren't primates.
We can have ghosts if we could. If we believe that we could, why cannot a Sasquatch, a dog, a cat? Why can't any of them become spirits?
Yeah. People always try to compare it to bears. Like, well, you know, bears aren't that smart. They can't. Bears aren't primates, okay? When you're talking about the way a primate brain functions and its learning capability, completely different than other animals. The level of intelligence that they often will exemplify, learning patterns and passing on learning patterns to others in their species. It's just incredible. So, you know, as far as the spirit thing goes, I'm with my belief system. I believe that, I guess you'd have to define, is there a difference in the soul and a difference in a spirit? I believe there is a difference. Okay. I believe that that ability to have a presence after you die is, I think that probably more than humans could possess that. I as far as from a biblical standpoint of soul and the you know, ascending to heaven and things like that, I don't think there's Bigfoots in heaven. I don't think that my dog that died 5 years ago is in heaven waiting for me. But I do believe that the spirits that you know, it just isn't a light switch shut off and nothing ever happens after that for them. But you know, I work in the area of truths and scientific. What can I develop a theory on through life experience, and then I try to gain more experience to support the theory, and hopefully at some point get it to a point where I can say I believe that's a fact. And when you deal with those, there's very little concrete in the Bigfoot world or any of the paranormal worlds where you can go beyond your theories. Your theories are based on your experiences and those who you associate within that area of the paranormal. But you know, I have to be really careful when I go on and talk about Bigfoot. I can't say, well, if they knock on a tree 3 times and then wait 10 seconds and knock on it twice, this is what it means, like it's a fact. No, that would be a theory I might have. But there's no factual evidence that that's a fact, you know. So like the question that you asked, Brenda, it's intriguing and I could have an opinion on it, but I certainly couldn't say, you know, I think from a factual point, I think this is the way it is. There's an awful lot of perception that has to be based on life experience to be able to even give an answer to it, you know. What have you experienced? What have you been taught? What have you been raised to believe? What have you seen?
Well, I like what this person said. Animals are totally in touch with other realms, sixth sense, more activated than people, generally speaking. There is a great book about the psychic powers of animals. Oh, apparently there's
Like
a book
kick
about it.
kitties. Kick kitties they've got magic powers.
Spirits and soul, two different things. Matt, what's your opinion? You know,
In regards to Brenda's question,
yeah.
I mean, I believe that they have a soul and a spirit. And I believe that they have, just like we do. I believe that they're a version of people, and I believe that they are our next of kin. So, I mean, like Amber was talking about earlier, I mean, she has herself been able to channel the spirits of animals. And I've heard that countless times through other psychic mediums that I've spoken to, that they've been able to channel animals as well. Why could there not be a Bigfoot being channeled? The guest that I had on my show earlier tonight, he, not to put his whole story out there, but one of the things that kind of stopped him from doing scientific, tangible research was the fact that he had collected a hair sample, and the hair sample that he collected, a couple months later, he was doing a house cleansing ceremony for somebody else on his reservation, and the spirit of the Sasquatch arrived there and told him that they wanted him to put that hair back, and that they did not want to be exposed, and it was a great disrespect to them. So the medicine man didn't really know what he was talking about. He says that, and he told him, he says that you took something from him and that you need to put it back. And he had never met the medicine man before. And after that day, he put it back, and
Wow.
I can't sit here and say that Jeff doesn't have a valid point where he's talking. We have to have a certain level of tangibility, and I can get that point, and I respect that point, and I think is very valid. But there also has to be some credit to the innumerous amount of stories where people say that they experience things like that they experience things on the paranormal aspect. And if we're a people and they're a people, why couldn't they have some sort of soul?
Well, I think now that's where you're drawing an opinion, which a lot of people in Sasquatch research feel, and some of them don't. I mean, there's a division there on, is this a person? Okay, and I'm not saying that they aren't. They certainly could be. My research hasn't led me to draw that conclusion, but the idea that this could be a tribe of people who look distinctly different from me, the same as I look distinctly different from an Asian person, or a 5 foot tall skinny person who weighs 90 pounds looks distinctly different than a 400-pound old man. I mean, we're talking about, if you weren't a human being and you weren't from this planet and you showed up and you saw a little Asian guy and you saw a big fat white American guy, you'd say they aren't the same species. They don't look similar, but we know through DNA that we're talking about the same animal here, right? So when you look at Sasquatch, are they a part of evolution that arrived to where we're at right now, or is it a distinctly different species that shares characteristics with us but isn't in that evolution lineage?
I mean, if we're talking,
I've got to be able to get more data to draw the conclusion from a factual standpoint, but
I mean, we share a good portion of the same amount of DNA as a banana. I mean, we're obviously not related to bananas. You know, there's a lot of different things that have the same genetic makeups. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're related. We're all made of carbon and water and H2O, H2O molecules and all these different freaking things if you break down our DNA. But that doesn't necessarily mean that, what's the right way to word this? You're trying to put, this is just how I feel, you're trying to put something paranormal, something that's completely unexplained and unproven inside of a scientific box. And my personal belief is that that's never going to happen. That's just me. And don't get me wrong, I try to be scientific. If you look on my page, I have scientific. I try to be as scientific about it as I possibly can, because I understand that within this community there has to be a level of tangibility, and there has to be a level of trying to put it in the scientific box for people to be able to understand that. But at the end of the day, no one can say that it is a scientific thing. For thousands of years, we have people talking about all kinds of different things all over the world that's unexplained. We have people.
Let's do this. We're getting it's 10:36. Let's have Amber give her opinion on that question, and then we'll wrap up the show. I know a lot of people want to go over and check out Connor to see how he's doing over there. So, if Amber, if you want to have the last opinion on Brenda's question, go for it. What do you think?
I feel, and like I said, and like Jeff said earlier, everybody has their own opinions, and that's kind of
it's all
what is awesome about our community, is because we all respect each other's opinions, and it takes different kinds of people and different kinds of opinions to kind of make up something. But I definitely feel that a Bigfoot or a Sasquatch can kind of come in and out of our realm. I think they show themselves to who they want to. Some people can go out and see them. Some people can't, and some people never will because they don't want them to. I think they know more telepathically than what we perceive, what we know. But I definitely think that it's interesting because there's hairs left behind. There's footprints. There's so many things. But I definitely think they can go in and out of like our reality whenever they choose to.
Nice.
Yeah. And like Jeremy just says here in the chat, needs more research. Everything needs more research. That's why we do it. Nobody has the answers to everything. We don't. It's all opinions and theories, and we're all researchers in our own different ways, and we listen to each other because paranormal can help out with the Bigfoot, and Bigfoot can help out with the paranormal. We learn different techniques, different ideas, and all that. And I was just sharing. I saw that our good friend is right over there. You can see that he's going for it. He's talking. Look at his arms.
Yeah, he's into it right now.
He's got full energy. But we are gonna end the show here, and I want to thank the whole panel. I mean, this tonight was fucking awesome. Hearing Jeff, hearing Matt, Brenda jumping on, Amber's, and Bob. I don't know how we got on with swear words, but who cares? I mean, everybody was fantastic, and I appreciate everybody for jumping on. I know we went a little bit longer than usual. My mark is usually 2 hours. After 2 hours, I get kind of too tired, but
yeah.
Thank you.
I want to apologize to the other guys on the panel.
Amber Paraworld's got a channel. It's called Amber's Paraworld. I'll make sure I'll put her channel, Jeff's Florida, in the description. Brenda, do you have your own channel, or do you?
I do.
Is it your name, or?
It's Brenda Hawkins, the Paracryptid Hunter.
Okay.
You can look me up.
Once I'm
I've
done
got
with
a pretty
this
good
show,
channel.
And the awesome merch.
I'll put everybody's links in the description so everybody could jump in and subscribe to everybody, because you gotta subscribe to a lot of different people because you want different opinions from everybody. Don't if you're a Bigfoot community, don't lock yourself out of the paranormal. Don't lock yourself out of the Bigfoots. We're all doing the same thing. We're all researching the unknown. Every one of us.
Yeah. I'm just happy to be in the row with the girls. You guys are a big sausage fest up on the top of our serious. I'm a damn good looking man, so this is where I belong right here. I want to apologize.
You know, when it comes down to it, we all have different abilities. We all have different things that interest us, and we're all going to have different experiences based on our abilities. And, you know, that's why we need to always be open-minded about, you know, what other people say and how they feel, and, you know, any kind of research they get or information, photos, videos, whatever it might be.
Share it, yeah.
Well, beyond that, we're going to end this show. Jeff, do you have another show coming up soon on your channel?
Yeah, Monday night, I believe I've got. I'd have to double check and make sure I know who Amy Boo from the Olympic.
The ghost is pissed off. It turned down my green screen.
Look at that.
And Swashin, South Florida, Matt, you do your show every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific time, correct?
Yeah, 9 p.m. Eastern.
And Amber, do you have a set time, or you just go on when you go on?
I'm going to do cards next Wednesday. That's all I've got planned as far as I just kind of.
And I know Bob, he just goes on when he goes on. He just
picks. Hey, Eric, I have a question.
Sure.
Whenever we end this, can me and you stay on here, because I want to ask you something?
Sure, no problem.
Okay.
So, Brenda, do you have a set time, or you just put on what you put on?
I go on whenever I want to, pretty much.
We just
we have fun on my lives, so yeah.
Oh yeah, I have to check it out. You have to invite me on sometime.
Yeah, I would love to come back up on panel, Eric. I mean, let's all sit and talk Bigfoot, because I can blow your mind with some stuff that I've seen and questions and stuff like that. Yeah, I'd definitely like to come back up and let's talk some Squatch. Yes.
Oh hell yeah, hell yeah! So beyond that, guys, I'll see everybody later. Have a good night.
Thank you.